Thank God it's Friday. It's the 16th day of May 2025. I'm excited about today and I hope you are too. Good morning to you wherever you find yourself. Welcome aboard GH Today train here on GHOne television. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah, and on Fridays, we take it easy for you, and so we make sure that you enjoyed some spots of music from Inchinchim Band. I mean, those young lads are just wonderful, amazing guys. Shout outs to the Inchinchim Band for setting the tone for us this morning. It's a Friday, so I'm not going to bore you with so much talk, but I'm going to make sure that from now till 10 a.m. we've got the greatest company ever. I love your company and I hope you do love mine as well. And so this morning we'll be talking about a wrap of all that has happened this week. We'll be looking at the Sammy Gyamfi issues, and shortly I'll be handing over the microphones to you so you get to talk to me about all the issues that have raged, from Sammy Gyamfi to the Cedi dollar relationship. I hear now the dollar is angry with the Cedi, so their relationship is some way. The Cedi is becoming really excited about what is happening, and then the call on traders to also reduce their prices. Then there is the talk about Dumso. Well, the minister says there's no looming Dumso, but we owe so much, like $400 million, and that has the propensity of affecting supply. And so we'll see how all of that pans out. So I want you to just marinate on these ones, and then when it's time for you to give me a call, you give me a call and talk to me about these issues. We'll also be sitting with the gentleman here, my colleague journalist. Will be talking about the week in review, and would also have some other interviews for you. So it's a very super packed show, really laced with a lot of excitement as well for you. And yes, welcome aboard. This is your show. It's my show. So let's get interactive on social media, on Facebook, on X, as well as on YouTube. Let's start with the quote of the day. And this one is from Oprah Winfrey. She says the biggest adventure you can ever take is to live the life of your dreams. I love this one so much, especially because it's also a Friday. So the biggest adventure you can ever take is to live the life of your dreams. So the dreams you have. Just move in that direction of the dream. Wherever it takes you, that's the adventure. That's how you can get to live. And so as we get into the weekend, make sure that you're looking for the dream that you want to catch, and then go in that direction of that particular dream. Listen, it's possible. You can attain that dream here. Let's now check out the word of the day and bring you a recap of all the words that we've learned this week. Serious students, I'm sure you recall these words.
Here is a recap of the words we brought you this week. On Monday, we brought you commute. On Tuesday, we brought you furore. On Wednesday, we brought you impregnable. And on Thursday, we brought you expendable.
So yes, we brought you all these words so that you can improve your vocabulary, ensure that you learn a new word each day here on the show. I told you, we educate you, we entertain you, and we also inform you. But it's time to now hand over the microphones to you as we delve into Inside Out for today. Friday, you get to be in control. You get to tell me exactly what is on your mind. So the numbers are on your screens currently. Just pick the numbers and then you can place a call through. Let me hear from you as to what you also make of all the issues that we've discussed this week, from Dumso to ECG matters, and then also to Sammy Gyamfi dollar. Presidency says there's nothing there, we are done. To gold board conversations, we are told, we had that interview with Kodjo yesterday on the gold board operations, and how we are also learning that some foreigners have been arrested, among others. The Cedi dollar relationship, you're using the dollar, the gold rather, gold reserves as a backup for the cedi, and that is making the cedi gain some strength, we are told, among other economic factors. The trend on social media, Atto is forcing Finance Minister Dr. Atto Forson also being hailed for what we are experiencing, but then there's no reflecting in terms of the goods and services. And so, Guta, Fabag, Trade Ministry, all getting into the conversation. So let me hear from you. My first caller is on the line. Hello there, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Where are you calling from and your name?
My name is Nalaka, calling from Tamale.
Right. So what's on your mind this morning?
In fact, I want to say something small about the Sammy Gyamfi issue, the dollar, and then if the time permits me.
Right, my brother.
Yes, I will first of all start with the issue of Sammy Gyamfi and the way the issue has gone and the way the MPP is coming back again after Mahama cleared him off. Yesterday, I watched my good brother and friend, Nuruddin, who happened to be my classmate back at senior high school in the Narayaku Senior High. I watched him explain himself on most of your channels.
Right.
I watched him speak, and in fact, I am not happy with the submissions and the kind of quotes that he made from the breach of contract or something like that by Sammy Gyamfi. And yesterday, I was happy. One of the MPs of the NDC, Agbana, called the CDO of GHOne News, and then he was trying to make some submission and then asked pertaining to try to quote very well from the Constitution, where Sammy has breached. And looking at it, it's like my good friends from the MPP are not doing well with the party. Because all the submissions that they try to make, we are not making any meaning from the Constitution. They're not trying to explain anything.
Right.
What they are busy doing is they are just trying to talk to make Sammy unpopular. And I made it clear some time ago that they should hold on. The time will come for them to criticize well. It's like they want to swap at all costs, which is very hot. So if they are not careful, they will end up by hurting themselves.
Right.
Because I have known Nuruddin, who has also helped a lot of people in during our days in senior high school. He was the type who always associates with the youth. You understand? And he do a lot of philanthropist work in Naleku and also in Tamale. So sometimes some of the things that we are trying to fight, if we are not careful, it will end up hunting all of us because they are politicians. And you cannot tell me that you go to the community and then you will not help your people. You will help them. What if somebody also stands somewhere and take a picture of you? Then what do you say?
Right.
You understand?
Right.
And then coming to the dollar issue, you see the MPP, they are very fast in criticizing the NDC. Something which is good, they say it is from their administration, it is from the good work of Baumia and Nana Akufo-Addo. But something which is bad, then try to attack it to the NDC. Let's look at the Dumso. After leaving office, less than 3 weeks, the Dumso issue started. So that one, the Mahama had come back with what? With his Dumso. But now that we are enjoying the fall of the dollar and then the gain of the cedi, that one that they try to attribute it to the what? To the MPP administration. So I don't know. I don't know whether we are here. Look, now, this is not the days of what? Of JJ or the days of Kufo, whereby the youth did not have access to issues that goes on in the country. Now, every child, even JSS students, all have what? Android phone, that they monitor what is happening. There is GHOne News that you can access through social media, GHOne, TV3, all the media houses you can access. And then every morning, children and the youth, let's say the youth, we are monitoring the issues, current issues in the country.
Bro.
Because they engage all the media houses, and then we try to know what is happening.
Right.
So the days of propaganda is gone.
Very Very well. Thank you.
The days of propaganda is gone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let someone also chip in their thoughts. Thank you so much for calling. The numbers are on your screens now. You can also call in. Let me know exactly what's on your mind. We have another call on the line. Hello there. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning. My name is Alhaji.
Well, Alhaji, where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Moscow.
Right. So, what's on your mind this morning?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Let me send my greetings to the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Bennett Ayako, and lawyer Edwin Tamaplu, and my boss, Peter Awudu Sofa and Shamima Muslim. Let's look at what is happening in this country. I think lawyer Sammy Gyamfi, he done his best. Lawyer Sammy Gyamfi. We appreciate lawyer Sammy Gyamfi for what he did. Because if somebody make wrong and came out to apologize to Ghana, it means that that person is a good person. Because look at how MPP people take it. And they have been holding the press conference with this matter. I don't know. These people, they are confused. Because what provoked NDC members is that why they give Agrada money and Agrada is a MPP supporter. He is supporting MPP 2024 election. Do you know that? Because of that, and NDC supporters provoke because of giving the Mami Agrada money. But some MPP, confusion people, and they came out holding the press conference, criticize Mami Agrada for receiving that money. It means that even yourself, you don't like your people. So I just want to tell Mami Agrada, if he listen to me, he shouldn't make mistake one day to campaign for MPP again.
Right.
Because MPP people don't like him. So, let me tell you something. When dollar issue came, look at how MPP people take it. In 8 years, you can't arrest the dollar, and dollar is running, and you people coming out to saying that NDC they have not done their best because of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia do things right. Because of that, and dollar calm down.
Right.
But I just want to ask. Let me conclude.
Please do for me, because there are other people on the line.
Yeah. So if you say so, and let's go up, and you came out to saying that Don Mama is the one who off the line. Hypocritical attitude cannot help our country.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too for calling. We have another call on the line. Hello there. Good morning. Please keep your submissions brief so that we can pick more calls this morning. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Ibrahim Salifu from Tagabada.
Right. So what's on your mind this morning, my brother?
You see, looking at all things is that Sammy Gyamfi has done nothing wrong.
Okay.
But the one that Sammy Gyamfi gives the money to, you understand?
Right.
The person has insulted your mama and his wife. That one is nothing. But the person is not an NDC member. We know that you can't do some charity work or do something good to bring somebody to another party to some place.
Right.
You understand? But Sammy Gyamfi now supposed to be somebody who will take care, be very, very careful, very vigilant. Because now he's not an ordinary person. Now,
right.
Sammy Gyamfi.
Right.
So this is my advice for him.
Salifu, thank you so much, and I'm sure that lawyer Sammy Gyamfi has taken note of that. Yes, so the numbers are on your phone, on your screens now. You can also put in the call. Hello there. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning. My name is Alidu.
Right, Alidu. Where are you calling from this morning?
I'm calling from Galway in the Bishabu district of the Northern Region.
Fantastic. How is the area this morning?
Very fine.
Fantastic. So what's on your mind, my brother?
Well, good morning to you and your cherished viewers. And good morning to my municipal executive. With regard to Sammy Gyamfi issue, I think entities like they just don't want to be quiet, so people will forget. Other than that, was what he did a bribe or a gift he gave to the lady. So if this is not a bribe, what is the noise for? Good morning.
Morning to you, my brother. Well, let's make time for one more call, and then we can wrap up this segment. Hello there. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Where are you calling from this morning?
Please, I'm calling from Class.
Right. So, what's on your mind?
Okay. Early in the morning, give me to look. Let's get to our villages. There are some people sitting in classroom where there's no chair and a lot. And giving such an amount of money to just one person, it's never done any. It's not acceptable, you know.
Right.
So, yeah.
You believe that money could have been put to other uses?
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you too for calling. Well, I wish we had more time to take more of your views. Unfortunately, this is how much time we would be able to use for this segment. But thank you so much for doing the calling, and also keep watching us because we've got so much for you. That's how we wrap up Inside Out this morning. Right, so after hearing from a man that I'm really interested in, because yesterday he was doing some security things, Mutala Inusa has joined me with Court today. So it's time to bring you Court today, and my brother Mutala Inusa, you know, like I said yesterday, he was doing a lot of security things, and he's joined me here with a breakdown. At least today we can get to understand why it was such a security zone for him yesterday when the CJ's removal of all the processes to probe the allegations brought against her commenced. Mutala, good morning.
Joshua Kodjo Mensah, good morning.
I hope you are okay.
I'm fine.
You are very safe.
I'm safe and fine, you know. Yesterday you were talking about security. Yeah, you know that there are certain things when they are taking place. Security is very key. And so when the security apparatus put in measures, you want to work within that perimeters and all of that. Once you try to go beyond it, the chances are that you have issues. So yesterday we're monitoring the Chief Justice's petition hearing. The committee set up to hear the petitions that have been submitted for her potential removal. And yesterday was the first day that the committee chaired by Justice Pwamang started to do its work. So we'll be monitoring the situation and all of that. So you realize at a point in time, the venue was an issue. The venue, we could not even tell you as national security. So we could not even mention the venue where and the chances are that initially there were a lot of people crowded in the area. So for security reasons, they decided that they won't allow people to crowd in the area, people to mass up in the area. So the security issues were very, very key. So you note that on Newsroom, when I was engaging you. Yes. At a point in time, I had to join via Zoom. Then quickly I had to go off and join you via phone. It's all part of security. And I remember asking, why is Mutala not showing? It's all part of security. But yesterday, yes, the committee started its work. And it's not open for the public as well as the media. So whatever information that you are picking out from is intel that you are being given around people around and all of that. So yesterday you realized that when I engaged you, I did indicate that the Chief Justice and then her lawyers have arrived. Apparently, it was the lawyers that actually made an appearance. Physically, she wasn't present there. But the understanding was also that yesterday, because it was the very first day, it was used to set out the modalities, the procedure to use in all of that. So as we speak, the committee will sit again on 22nd of May. That's a week from yesterday. Right. And from there, we'll get to know more whether they communicate that they will sit 3 times in a week. How it will work from there. So that's how it worked yesterday when the committee, by way of the 5-member committee chaired by Justice Pwamang, started to deal with the issues regarding the petition seeking the potential removal of the Lady Chief Justice.
Interesting. Wow. And while the head of the judiciary, the Chief Justice, is going through her own processes, her colleagues too are being schooled.
Yes, a subject, you can put it that way. Yeah, so some selected, this one we started telling you about it last week, Friday, Thursday. Some selected justices of the High Court, judges from the Circuit Court, and of course, magistrate, district court were undergoing some capacity building of its sort. And so that training is to more like learn things that are outside the jurisdiction of Ghana by way of best practices to learn the legal framework of international communities and then let what is happening here in Ghana. So a more like cross-border knowledge. And this one was being funded by the Ministry of Italy, Foreign Affairs of Italy, that they funded the whole thing. And this one was organized by scholar Superior Santana. And they put together in collaboration with the Judicial Training Institute of Ghana under the Judicial Service and all of that. So the 2-day capacity building equipped the judges, equipped the magistrates to be able to open their minds up and the horizon and all of that. We brought you the opening ceremony, and then the closing ceremony is what we are bringing to you now. So let's hear from Justice Kwekutewia Akabwa, for a justice of the Court of Appeal, who represented the director of the Judicial Training Institute at the closing ceremony.
On behalf of the director of the Judicial Training Institute, Justice Ibrahim, Judge of the Supreme Court, and all the participants, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to the sponsors for this important training on international judicial cooperation and in preventing international crimes. To our sponsors, in particular the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Italy, your generous support has made it possible for the judges who gathered here today, from yesterday and today, from various courts in the country, to come together, exchange knowledge, and strengthen the tools of justice. In a world where international crimes continue to threaten peace, stability, and human dignity, your commitment to sponsor and to exchange ideas to help build capacity and the rule of law is more timely and deeply meaningful. We want to thank you very much for your sponsorship. We have not only advanced our understanding of legal frameworks and the best practices, but also we have formed partnership because we've had our bear to talk to us about practices in Italy and the European Union. That is something to help us understand how it works in the other part of the world. So to that extent, we say thank you very much, not only for the financial support, but for your belief in justice, your belief in cooperation and accountability. Your contribution has certainly empowered those who protect the most fundamental rights of humanity, judges. Understand that we are in a world now where we all need to forge together in order to fight this canker of international terrorism and cybercrime. So once again, thank you very much for making this vital initiative possible. We thank you very much, and on behalf of my colleagues, we say grazie.
Yes.
That was Justice Akabuafo.
Yeah, that's Justice Akabuafo. So that is his remarks at the closing ceremony of that particular 2-day capacity building for. And I told you for judges, and I told you about the fact that this event was sponsored by the Foreign Affairs Ministry of Italy. And so the Italian ambassador was there, Her Excellency Laura Renali, the Italian ambassador was there. And let's hear from her why this whole event was funded.
In the context of our renewed commitment in African countries and considering that Ghana has become a priority country for Italy, the Italian government has financed a series of training and capacity building initiatives with the aim of promoting the rule of law, good governance and consolidation of constitutional system in this country. Personally, since my arrival last December, I have had the honor to attend a few of these training courses. I would like to recall in particular the Pro-Electoral Integrity Project, which is an European Union project supporting the activities of the African Union's election, constitutionalism and transitional justice units, realized by the European Centre for Electoral Support and financed by our Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
That's the point, but how or why they decided to be sponsoring capacity building and all of that. But she also made a point about how significant justice delivery is. Let's take a listen to her.
After my overview on our engagement in Ghana, I would like to conclude by thanking the organizers, the teachers and all the participants in the International Judicial Cooperation Training for Judges of Ghana, also for their efforts and for their work. I'm confident that this course will benefit all participants and mark the beginning of a fruitful collaboration between Sant'Anna di Pisa, the Ministry of Justice and the Judicial Training Institute of Ghana. As the representative of the Judicial Training Institute was saying, we believe in justice and we have to fight all together against international crimes. Thank you, and let's hope we will remain in touch. I'm here in Accra, you know where to find me.
You know where to find her?
We'll get to the embassy.
Definitely. Once you get to the embassy, you get to find her and all of that. But the organizers, the scholar Superior Santana, who are the organizers together with the Judicial Training Institute, represented by Mira Bunucci, the project coordinator, also has this to say.
I would like to express my gratitude to the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation and to the Judicial Training Institute for their continued collaboration and for their generous support in order for this training to be successful. So I really would like to just again say thank you for your collaboration and your commitments. And I really look forward to the opportunity of welcoming you to other future programs. So, thank you.
So, that is Mira Bunucci. She is the project coordinator in respect of the organizer's point of view and all of that. But in all of this, the judges, the magistrate who attended the forum, who sat through the training, listened to the facilitator and all of that, we've been engaging some of them. And let's hear from Justice Francis Roxon Abuadri, a justice of the High Court, what he learned from this exercise.
For the last 2 days, what we came to study has to do with international judicial cooperation. Yes, which has to do with issues like extradition and the like. And it's been very thought-provoking. Most of us came here with little knowledge in that area, but we are living here today with a lot of knowledge acquired. There are other areas that we think we will also may have to look at. We are looking forward to having similar programs, and then at the end of the day, it can help the Ghanaian judiciary with issues that has to do with international judicial cooperation. This, to my knowledge, is the first one. If you listen to what the resource person said, they've been to some other African countries, but with Ghana, this is the first time. So I'm expecting that with this first program, subsequently some other programs just like this should follow in the coming months, the coming years. I expect that there should be similar programs which would at least enhance the judiciary in the delivery of justice.
So, like Oliver Twist, he has learned so much. He feels that this one will do so much for them, especially the participant, but he thinks that going forward, more of such programs ought to come, so that if you listen to the introduction part where they were introducing themselves, a lot of them were making the point that this is their first time of having such an engagement in a forum like this. So it was such an important and significant issue and all of that. So that is how this whole capacity building on the international cooperation or judicial issues ended by way of the 2-day capacity building training.
So there are so many people who believe that the Office of the Special Prosecutor, had been quiet among others, but the OSP says, forget it, we are working.
So I remember sometime last week when the issues of Charles Bisu came up, we're having a conversation as colleagues, and we're like, ever since the OSP started filing charges, suing people and court, has he ever secured any conviction yet? The cases are pending, so as of now, we do not know what has become. There are some in Accra, Kumasi, and all of that. But rightly so, just a few days later, the OSP has answered the question that we have been asked. So on your screens now, there is something that happened, and where the OSP is briefing the nation on by some conviction that the office has secured in relation to the payroll fraud. And in fact, interestingly, these accused persons who were involved, 6 of them quickly went under the Plea Bargaining Act to negotiate with the state, and then at the end they have to pay restitution and reparation by way of returning whatever they took from the state, and stop paying compensation and the sort. But the OSP has been giving breakdown. This is the artwork that the Office of the Special Prosecutor came up with, giving us the name of the convicted person, and there are 6 of them. 1, Stafford Kolete Azude Barris. We are told that he's Assistant Chief Accounts Technician, Controller General. That's department. That's where public sector workers have their salaries passed through and all of that. Accra. He's a convict now. Number 2, Tahidu Yakubu, a former teacher, Balungu Junior High School in Yendi. Interesting there. And the 3rd one is Sammy Sook, Schools Improvement Support Officer, Yendi North Circuit. And the 4th convict is Mohammed Yusuf J, a former headmaster, Balungu MAJHS Yendi. The 5th is Abdullahi Abubakar Sadiq, Municipal Coordinator, Integrated Personnel, Payroll Database. So in all of that, you could see the link from headmasters, circuit supervisors, and all of that. Then the 6th person is Osman Isahaku, current headmaster, Balungu MAJHS Yendi, current headmaster. And the OSP has been telling about the charges that were preferred against them. The accused faced 22 counts, including corruption, false certification, and causing financial loss to the state, linked to investigations into government payroll administration. And at the end, the OSP is saying that in addition to disrupting the payroll fraud scheme within the GES, the convicts have refunded a total sum of 106,319 to the state. And in fact, if you look at all the security apparatus, one of the things they will tell you that the first option is that when you are caught as somebody who has perpetrated or your actions lead to causing financial loss, is the money first and the other things follow. So that's what the OSP is telling us about that. So that is what we are giving it to you by way of review. But today, the only one that we have to tell you is that Madam Cecilia Dapa is expected at the High Court this morning in relation to the stolen funds from her home. She and the husband. And patient Butchie Saraje, patient Butchie is the one with the scarf on your screens now, leaving the premises of the court. So they are expected to subject Madam Cecilia Dapa to further scrutiny, further cross-examination before Justice Marie Lewis Simmons. So we'll follow through and we'll update you as and when will happen.
Absolutely. Mutala Nusa, thank you so much for court today. We'll now zoom in straight to the sports. Right, and to help us with a sports chart is the man Jones ADZI, and it's a Friday. He's outside.
Yeah. Oh, Meja, so Charlie. So Friday, yeah, sideways, and the sideways, yeah, boko. You just every Friday you have to check the time. When it's 11, then you know it's getting 12. 1, 2, 3, enter the net like Shatawali. But who is your favorite Black Stars player of all time?
Of all time, I think I'll choose two.
Okay.
So I grew up in the era where I watched Michael Essien.
Yeah.
I loved him.
Yeah. But why? Which era? Why do I look like I didn't watch Michael Essien? The way you were doing, you're doing like you watched Michael Essien. Not Michael Essien. Yeah, we all watched Michael Essien.
So choose your era.
Okay.
So I think Michael Essien.
Yeah.
I love Stephen Appiah.
Yeah.
And then Philemon Tari. These three, I don't know who to choose.
Wow. Yes. Wow. Stephen Appiah, Michael Essien.
And then
wow. They're all midfielders too. So
yeah.
Okay. It's fine. It's fine. Asamajan there.
No, he's not.
It's fine. Right. So this morning, I want to start off from the Ghana Premier League, and then I bring you happenings this weekend, because the title race is getting keener and interesting, and we're going to see Accra Lions take on Aduana FC at tomorrow, and then we'll see Kumasi Asante Kotoko. The coach says that the title race is not over, so they are going to take on Dreams FC at the Barra Sports Stadium on Sunday. Brekum Chelsea face Accra Heart of Oak. Accra Heart of Oak, if they jump to heaven and come down, title race no. It's over. The coach says that he knows that it's over. And then we see Basake Oli Stars face Bando Heart of Lions. Bando Heart of Lions are in the race for the title race. Yes, the title, this is the Ghana Premier League title this season. And then Kerala United take on Midiama. Vision would play Young Apostles. FC Samatex take on Bechim United. And then Legon Cities would face Nations FC. Yes, Nations FC have been in the news recently because of Emmanuel Ano. But then they actually top of the Ghana Premier League table. Let's get to see the Ghana Premier League table and see how things are looking like. Yes, Nations are first with 54 points, and then behind them, just a point behind them, we see Mando Hearts of Lions. They do have 53 points. Bibiani Gusas are third with 53 points as well. Asante Kotoko are fourth with 51 points, and then we see Midiama 47. Accra Hearts of Oak somewhere sixth with 46 points there. So it is still between Nations, Lions, Bibiani Gold Stars, and then Asante Kotoko. The relegation battle, we all know Insotramain is gone. That's why you can see that their name is deemed here. And then Accra Lions are 16th, Legon Cities are 17th. We'll see which of these two teams can make it, and probably, well, it is almost over for Legon Cities. Accra Lions can go top if they get a win, and Kerala United can come down. Let's see how it goes in the Ghana Premier League at this weekend. Let's get into things and then bring you some news from the Women's League, because this weekend, yes, we're going to celebrate Women's Festival at the University of Ghana Stadium, and then Jonina Ladies are going to take on Faith Ladies. Their first game, so the FA Cup would be between Jonina Ladies and Faith Ladies at 3 p.m. And then at exactly 6 p.m., we would see the likes of Apem Dakwa, yes, ladies in action. So yes, Apem Dakwa ladies will take on Police ladies at 6 p.m. there. So 2 games happening at the University of Ghana Stadium. It is free. Mumbra. I understand that a lot of ladies will be there. So Joshua, yeah, bring your kids and your wife and
Jules,
yeah.
Say Ampem
Dakwa.
Ampem
Dakwa.
What's Ampem Dakwa? So
man, right, so they will be in action on Sunday at 6 p.m. and then 3 p.m. So Sunday there will be no traffic. Come to the University of Ghana Stadium. It's free. Come, let's enjoy some good game. Now there's some good news from Pram because yes, the GFA. Yes, it's putting together a natural grass. So there you have, it's on your screens now. It is a FIFA requirement for at least the associations to put together some natural grass to support football in the country. And so they are putting together some natural grass. They've started. We're hoping that it will be completed soon, and then we can improve on our play here in the Ghana Premier League, and then of course in the Division 1 League as well. Now let's move on quickly and I say congratulations to Barcelona fans. Hey, Barca. Espanyol yesterday, 2-0, and Lamine Yamal, that boy is not a teenager. I'm sorry.
I mean the young
yes,
guy.
He's not a teenager. I'm sorry.
Doing his homework.
No. Yes, he's not a teenager. When you get to see the goal that the boy scored again yesterday, like, and the boy is saying that I'm older than him. That's what the boy is saying. But then congratulations to Barcelona. They have won the La Liga title, and it was not an easy one at all. Chesney coming in, getting a good season with Barcelona, and Lamine Yamal. Oh my. So Barcelona have been crowned champions of La Liga after beating Espanyol yesterday 2-0. Real Madrid would have a trophy. Let's look at the goal. Look at the goal from the boy. And then he's not a teenager. I'm sorry. He says he's 17 years old. Yeah. That's why I told you that when your kids go to school, let them teach them A for attack, B for ball. They can start football because there's money there.
Well, it's not just about money, it's also about purpose.
Yeah, yes. Your purpose. All right. Let's get to the English Premier League and then bring you happenings, yes, in the English Premier League this weekend, because tonight Chelsea are going to take on Manchester United, and Aston Villa would also face Spurs. So Tottenham Hotspur would take on Aston Villa. Chelsea playing Manchester United. Everton will take on Southampton. That will be on Sunday. West Ham play Nottingham Forest. Brentford will take on Fulham. Leicester play Ipswich, and then Arsenal take on Newcastle United. So these are the games that would happen there. And tonight, the big one, of course, will be Chelsea Manchester United. When you get to see the table in the English Premier League, you understand that it is very important for the likes of Chelsea and Aston Villa to get points in today's game, because Chelsea are lying somewhere fifth. And then, yes, so Liverpool obviously have qualified for the Champions League. They are first. Arsenal are still not safe. They do have 68 points. Newcastle are third with 66 points. And then Manchester City are fourth with 65 points. Now, Chelsea, who play tonight, are fifth with 63 points. Aston Villa also playing tonight are sixth with 63 points. So, if any of these two sides drop points, well, it is likely that Aston Villa would go top of Chelsea if Chelsea drop points. And then Nottingham Forest will also be in action on a Sunday there. So the last time Chelsea and Manchester United met, it was a 1-1 draw, and Bruno Fernandes scored a penalty. We saw Moses Caicedo getting a brilliant goal from a corner kick there. So congratulations to well, no congratulations. I know Manchester United will win. I'm a United fan. We are hoping to get this win tonight. So congratulations to us in advance. Right. Let's finally end off with tennis, because for those of you who love tennis, well, the Rome Open would happen. Is happening, and then Tommy Paul. Yes, Tommy Paul is going to be in action tonight today against Yannick Sinner, and it promises to be exciting because these two guys are top, and then Yannick Sinner is coming on the back of a doping ban, 3 months ban, but then he's playing like no one's business. And let's see if the American Tommy Paul can get it over with the homeboy, yes, because it is happening in Italy, Rome, and then Yannick Sinner is from Italy there. So that's all for the sports chat this morning. Do join us on the game at 1 p.m. because we have the president of Ghana Athletics, yes, the man who sees everything, oversees everything athletics in Ghana, would be joining us on the game at 1 p.m. Mr. Bafusaini will be with us, and then we'll talk athletics and then preview the weekend for you. Of course, do join me on Star FM tomorrow at 8 a.m. Yes, on the arena. I am GHOne, Cedi, and of course, we're outside. Good morning to Juliana Amposa, and happy birthday to Eunice.
Jones, yeah. Thank you.
Eunice Elom.
Eunice Elom. You've forgotten the surname.
Yeah, I forgot it.
Jones Haji with the sports chat here, but let's check out the papers this morning. It's a Friday, 16th of May, 2025. What are the newspapers reporting? All right, so let's kickstart this morning with the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Mass decongestion, get off pavements and footbridges. AMA gives traders Tuesday deadline, and it comes on the back of also the petition sent to the AMA by the transport operators. There's also NPP bans internal campaigns until nominations open. We saw the letter yesterday, and will improve road networks according to President John Dramani Mahama, and that's it for the Ghanaian Times. The new weekend crusading guide says lights out imminent. Energy Minister says Ghanaians will wake up to a country without power as ministry struggles for 1.1 billion cedis. Well, 6 convicted in payroll corruption scandal. Mutala brought you that story. Coming up, storm in Ashanti over missing fertilizers. Minister, brother, stand accused. More tension at Shai Hills over land disputes. Then there's also playwright Latif Abubakar out with Ghana Must Go. And Samira Bawumia Literature Prize announces call for entries for 2025 edition, and over-the-counter dollar withdrawal still allowed. That's according to the Bank of Ghana in response to comments made by the board member of the bank, Isaac Adongo. The Ghanaian publisher says BOG cuts Adongo to size, rubbishes reckless non-dollar at the counterclaim. Oh, publisher, relax more. Does Ghana truly need a national career? Joyce Bar Mokhtari writes, and also Samira Literature Prize opens 2025 entries captured there. And still on the front page of the Ghanaian publisher, man challenges CJ's removal process. And that's it for the Ghanaian publisher. The Daily Searchlight, Ken Kranchi Searchlight says removal of CJ Tokono Pwamang sued in Supreme Court. Scrap dealers destroy Ghana's roads and infrastructure. Ghana Hotel Association sues Gamro over royalties rather. And Ghana records $3.83 billion in 2024. That's captured there in terms of non-traditional exports, right? So that's the Daily Searchlight for you this morning. Now let's look at the Daily Statesman. It says that BOG exposes Isaac Adongo over dollar accounts misinformation. There's also Citizen seeks Supreme Court's clarity on the removal of the Chief Justice. Ochehin supports Ameje Foundation and call for entries opens for 2025 Samira Bawumia Literature Prize. The Chronicle is next, says human beast story for appear in whole court today. Also, SML positions Ghana as a front runner in the drive to data sovereignty, according to Professor Boate. And the scripture is from Isaiah chapter 43, the verse number 19, which says, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it?" That's the Chronicle for you. So, Daily Graphic this morning, Ghanaian theatre goes global. Ghana must go. Response to big push initiative has a picture of the tourism minister. There's also Achimoda Primary School ransacked, roofing sheets, fittings, burglar proofs stolen. National Security Rescue Mission details in kidnapped women's case. Okay, and that's it for the Daily Graphic. The Daily Guide is next. Power crisis looms, has a picture of the energy minister looking quite sad on the front page there. Ghana must go to drive global attention. Nungwa families file for injunction against Zoom Lion subsidiary. And then again, there's also NDC fears me. That's according to the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the party, of the MPP, Wuntumi. SML Innovation attracting global interest. Professor Boateng saying that. And Magzi wins Otumfuo Gold Award. What the papers are reporting this morning, you can just grab a copy at the stand and then get to read details of the stories. But we'll go for a quick break. When we return, my colleagues will be joining me. We'll be having a conversation about all those regional issues right here. Stay. This is still GA Today here on GHOne Television. It's time to get into the breakfast review segment, and as we always do on Fridays, we bring you my senior colleagues so that we can explore the matters that have been raging all week. And to join us to have that conversation, but let's get into the system now. Yeah, so we are in the system, the breakfast review segment of GA Today, and I have Awudu Mahama. He is the managing editor, the Custodian newspaper, and also my own boss, Ibrahim Alhassan. He's head of the political desk at EIB. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Awudu, IB and I were gossiping earlier.
Yes.
We were hoping that you also wear your fugu today.
In fact, I actually took the thing and I put in. I don't know what happened, and I changed my mind. It will be nice.
Yes,
look great this morning.
Thank you.
Fugu there, Charlie, you don't go get
any day.
It can go anywhere.
Easy way.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't have to worry about ironing.
Charlie, I actually put your hang it somewhere. I say, oh, morning, but I was.
Charlie, no problem. At least for now, you have light.
Yes.
So you are able to iron.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, the line here there is fuel. Fuel has come. I saw it on your flyer.
Fuel has arrived.
But how has it been?
Oh yeah, Charlie. As usual, we are managing. You know, management has become more critical. You need to manage in this country to survive.
Right.
So we are in it. We have managed all these years, and the management continues.
It continues unabated. Well, let's talk about the issues that have gained prominence over the week. I mean, Monday, I remember my boss decided that we were not going to talk about Sammy Gyamfi. It was not part of the agenda, but it became the top agenda on Monday.
Wow.
Yes. And now, I mean, looking at how it's traveled.
Yes.
So from the video to the apology, to minority press conference, the NPP getting into the fray, and then presidency says there's nothing there. The guy has apologized. That is it. It ends there. Minority now says that cannot be the case. We are going to petition bodies to look into the matter. I mean, for some people, it's much ado about nothing. Do you also subscribe to that assertion that, well, the gentleman was just being kind, and so his apology should suffice?
Well, I'm going to have my view. If after my view you see that it's much as ado about nothing, then Ghanaians will judge. But let me say good morning to our cherished viewers. And then, I have a principled stance on these matters.
Right.
When Cecilia Dapa's matter came, I was here. I said that on that matter, she decided that she kept her money in her room, and some people stole the money. She reported the thing. On this show, I said that nobody has been able to prove that she stole the money. She stole the money, state money, and therefore she was going to be held accountable for stealing state money. I said it here. But people, including Sammy Gyamfi himself, were all over the place saying that, because she was a public officer, and they actually said hoarding dollars, she should be held accountable. I said that, why? Has somebody reported that the woman has taken some money from some people everywhere to say that it is public money? So the woman, all these years she has worked, she has no right to keep her own money in her bedroom. We had this discussion as to why she was keeping the money at home and not in the bank. And I said, if I have my money, I choose where I keep my money. Especially when there is this controversy about whether you can withdraw your dollars from the bank or not. Bank of Ghana has clarified that. So I said that unless the investigation proved otherwise, that she has stolen state funds, I was not going to. All the noise about it, she has. Listen, I will not, because if now I have some money in my safe at home, and I become a minister or become a CEO, and somebody steals the money because I have become a CEO, then automatically I have stolen the money to keep in my home. I said no, that cannot be. In the same vein, I think that it has become an issue because of Sammy Gyamfi's own attitude towards some of these things. The way
I mean, if it was some other person,
if it was, it won't have been an issue because look, why? Has anybody reported that Sammy Gyamfi has stolen his dollars? Is it because he has become CEO of Ghana Gold Board? Is it because of that if he has his own money, he decides to share it? It becomes a problem. Where is the criminality in sharing money in public? Is there any criminality in sharing your own money in public? But as I said, because of his own attitude, the way he received others, that's what it has become. Right. But for that, I do not see anything. What the code of ethics, which the president launched recently, talks about that they should eschew opulence. That may be the case. But you see, that code of ethics, I'm not a lawyer. It's not a legal document that is binding. It's of persuasive effect. And it's the president who is keeping his appointees in check on that code of ethics. So it is for president to show his to exhibit his discretionary powers as to whether when somebody does something, whether he should reprimand the person, dismiss the person, or forgive the person after an apology. In this case, he says that, look, the man has apologized. I have forgiven him. Cleared. He's gone. Now, minority says that they are petition OSP, Shraj, and all that. It is it is political. These matters, everybody knows it is political, what they have done. And they have every right to do that, because if it were NDC, they would do the same thing. But I'm saying that, what will Shraj be looking at? Would they say that I don't know whether minority has provided any evidence that the money that he was sharing was stolen money. And that will be the only thing that will involve criminality. Apart from that, as I said earlier, sharing money in public, I don't see any criminality in there. So let's see what happens on this matter. Let's see what happens. The investigations, they may call him. These agencies may call the minority to come appear before it. And at least there will be people who will be called to give evidence, to prove whether they have anything contrary to what I'm saying. Apart from that, I think it's all about politics. But I have something to tell. I think Sammy Gyamfi himself should learn from there. He's a young man. He's a national communications officer of the NDC. But he's also just not that now. Now he's a CEO of Gold Board, where internationally everybody looks at that institution. Because you are dealing with people locally and internationally. Sure. So you have a certain stature, you have a certain attitude towards the way you do your work, how you speak, how you conduct yourself, and all that will be monitored now. And even within his own party, he has to be. If I were his advisor, I'll tell him that you should be careful even from within. That is even more dangerous than outside. Because you are occupying a position that people think that is so huge that the budget that you have will be more than some. So if you gather some so-called unimportant ministries, about 10 ministries, you alone have been given that budget, and you are supposed to manage it. You are managing it locally and internationally, so all eyes are on you. So my advice to me is a young man, as I said, my advice to him is to change his ways. I saw a headline, go and sin no more. Go and sin no more. I have done this headline before when I was daily guide. That was my favorite like when I was in parliamentary correspondent. So it is that's how it is. Politics, you will hope that some people will drag it some time. But as I said, look, it's a journey of nowhere leading to, it's not going anywhere. But the reputational thing is very important. That's why he should look at as a person and as a human being. He should look at that critically. Right. So I have that stance that, look, until it is proven that money is, as I said on the Cecilia Dapa case, and it is proven that this money that he gave out, it is stolen money, then I see as much ado about nothing. But you see, and within NDC itself, they also live it because of the recipient of the money.
I use my headline as flashy agrada. It's all over the place. The woman does all manner of things.
Yes.
She's into money doubling and all that. She knows she has a lot of cases in court. She has at least, I know of 2 cases in court. People, Ghanaians are very greedy. You have your 10,000, or you go and give it to somebody to make it 100,000 for you.
Sika guy.
What kind of? So it's also because of the person involved, the recipient of the money, that has also added to this whole controversy.
Because I've heard NDC communicators who say that, well, she campaigned even against John Dramani.
Exactly.
So
why you want it? And my thinking is that, look, this is somebody, Sammy Gyamfi's thinking maybe that this is somebody who campaigned against us. So, but she has approached me, say, yeah, me fine, do something. Me pay fuel. And you, as a politician, look, if you're a politician, you don't chase people away. You rather try to bring them to your fold. So I think that's probably what he said. But me, I told some people that if Sammy Gyamfi had pulled the woman into the car, closed the doors, and given Agrada money, Agrada comes out to display dollars. Why? This people would not have seen what the currency which Sammy Gyamfi even gave Agrada. So if you display dollars, I can even deny it. At least I didn't give you dollars. I gave cedis, especially when now the thing was counted on full glare of the public, and the money was even given to the lady. The rest, the lady snatched it, and decided to. And I can be sure that probably the people, because it was done on the full glare of public, somebody just took the video and people are saying it could be Agrada's own people who did that. They want to show that, look, you are with NDC, you're bragging, or I am, even though I did this, I am enjoying, I'm even getting money from the communications officer. So it's a learning curve. I think probably I have disappointed some people, but look, I have, as I said, I have a stance.
Yes.
And that one, I don't go compromise myself, because when I have a certain view, that's my view, and I don't go against it, because I said one thing to yesterday. Yeah. It's a similar thing. I cannot go against what I said yesterday. That's it. So, but Sammy should learn from this. If he were to be my friend, I will advise him. Maybe he can consider me as his moving forward, an advisor.
Yeah,
that would be helpful.
Yes. Ibrahim Alhassan,
well,
you've been following this, and you are with the minority.
Yes, I was with the minority. But so, as you mentioned, on Monday, so this video became public over the weekend. Right. So before even we could retire to bed Sunday evening, the gentleman in question, Sammy Gyamfi, had posted an apology on his social media handle. The apology was tailored towards the rank and file of the party members who were livid and had some unkind words to describe his action. And I agree with Awudu that, largely because of the recipient and what the recipient represents and what she had done a few days to the elections. So to the party people, if anybody should benefit from this administration at this point in time, 4 months, it should not be Agrada. So you can understand why they were boiling with rage. Right. Now, I decided that we won't mainstream it.
Yes.
We won't mainstream it. Right. Until your guest came before you. But then again, the chief of staff had taken an action. And that action took place. We got to know of that action late night, that
the
invitation to come and then answer questions relative to his actions. Once the central governance system had taken action, that of course it's a subject that should be mainstreamed, right? So that's what then made it a topical issue on the show that was dealt with. Now, when I saw the video, yes, Sisi didn't play in my mind, because I think these are apples and oranges. So in my mind, I didn't compare the two, right? But then the only thread that will run through both will be a currency different from the Ghana cedi. That's the only thread that runs through Sisi Ladapa.
Probably also the coin too.
Oh, okay, so the only thread that runs through this incident that we are talking about in Ladapa, to me, will be the foreign currency.
So that was where my attention went. See, if Sammy Gyamfi had given Agrada 20,000 Ghana cedis bundle, the party people will catch feelings. Yes, they will be emotional about it. But that's how the conversation will end.
But dollar?
We are all invited to the table because of the currency involved. Otherwise, this is not a big deal.
Yeah.
Right? And especially because he's a government appointee. The last thing you want people to see you display in public is a foreign currency. So, to me, I look at it from that angle. And I agree with him that it's display of indiscretion. I agree wholeheartedly. Display of indiscretion, giving somebody a gift in a foreign denominated currency in the full glare of the public.
Right.
Especially when it's being recorded. Sammy Gyamfi took a picture with Agrada before proceeding to his vehicle, and the woman then followed. Yeah. And I'm sure that was when she was making a demand that give me money for fuel, give me money for fuel. And so, anybody, in fact, there was somebody sitting in the car. That person should have prompted Sammy that you are being recorded. Because Sammy was buried into counting of the money.
Counting the money.
So, somebody should have prompted him that you are being recorded. Sean, just close the door and then move. Agrada can follow you to wherever and then go and take whatever. Right? So that's the indiscretion that we're talking about.
Which he admitted.
Oh, yes. Wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. And then, before we get into the other episodes that followed and what have you, the president then comes back and says that, okay, he was actually queried. He responded to the query. And query basically means that, tell us why you should not be punished, right? And then in your response, you indicate. And I'm sure that he pointed to the fact that he has already apologized.
Yes.
He's then reprimanded and cautioned. And then the president says, no further action will be taken. If I tell you, and I've said this on countless occasions on Morning Star, that there are people who were asking for Sammy Gyamfi to be sacked. Right? Let's look at their demand for a while. You come back to the point that this conversation is all because Sammy Gyamfi gifted somebody money.
Yeah.
So how can you report that somebody has lost his job for giving another person money? Because in the final analysis, that's where you come to. You come to the conclusion that he gave somebody money. Yes, there's a conversation about what type of money. Yeah. You get it. But the bottom line is that yes,
money was given.
Yes. And me, if I'm a decision maker, I cannot come to terms with the fact that I'm making somebody lose his job because the person gifted another person money. To me, that was the measuring rod. But yes, I expected something to be done just so he himself will look at it and say that, yes, it's an indiscretion. I draw a line in the sand. This should never happen again. And it will also alert other public office holders that do not be carrying foreign currencies and be displaying it. The two of us are in parliament. I can tell you that at a point in time, when members of parliament want you to know that they have arrived and they have to gift you something, they will give it to you in dollars.
That's right.
So, and I'm not even talking about the 9th parliament. The 9th parliament has been in existence for just a few months. I'm talking about previous parliament, where it's very easy to see members of parliament carrying dollars. It's normal, right? But they will tell you that they've not publicly displayed it. They are just members of parliament. They've not been given other responsibilities of being government appointees.
Yes.
And that is where the difference comes in.
Right.
Once you're a government appointee, and not just a government appointee, you are in charge of gold board.
In actual fact, a member of parliament, you are also part of government.
Oh, no, we get that. You are an arm of government. You are an arm of government, but the people elected you directly. Directly.
Yes.
You get the point.
Okay.
But this
So
was
not
by the
an
president.
appointee.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
But this an appointee. And fortunately for all of us, there is a gold board that has been created. And subsequently we'll talk about the stability of the city. And the city is anchored by the work of that particular body. Right? And recently the city has started rising against the dollar.
Yeah.
For the first time, we are using the word Cedi appreciating against the dollar in a long while. Right? And people are giving credit for the manager to the economy. And when they do that, they don't leave out Sammy Gyamfi. Because PMMC has now been changed and transformed into Gold Board. So I understand the people who say that the last person we wanted to see with dollars in public was him. So yes, like I said, lesson learned. So this is the ethical and moral conversation. Then there's the political conversation. It's the political conversation that took me to Shraj yesterday, that took me to CID, and that ended me at the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Right? That's the politics. And trust me, if the tables had been differently arranged, the story would have been the same.
Same script, same actors, but in different positions.
Exactly. You get the point. So, yes, it's the timing, and usually in political decisions, you take a risk. There were many people who were livid about what Sammy Gyamfi had done. But immediately the MPP joined the conversation. They relaxed and said, you get the point. So it's a political calculation. You can get the advantage, it can be counterproductive. Do I blame the MPP for jumping in? No. Is it a strategy? Yes. Can it backfire? Yes. Can they gain something? Yes, they can. So it's a risk. Yes, a gentleman petitions Raj. The gentleman himself weighed up and realized that, Charlie, this one, let me withdraw. So yesterday in our engagement with Alhaji Nuruddin Mumuni, the Nalerugu Gambaga MP, he had mentioned that the gentleman who withdrew was a coward. Right, yes, he was a coward. And so, so he is following suit to petition. See, the bodies will do their work. They will come out with their findings. We'll be here to talk about it. In the meantime, this will serve as a lesson to everybody, especially government appointees, that politics works this way. Somebody wants you to misstep, and the person jumps in. It's not always that that person is from opposition. Sometimes the person is just by you. He wants you to misstep. He wants you to misfire. He wants you to miscommit yourself from within. And so the condemnation came not just even from without, from within. And to me, that's a good thing. It's a good thing that we had NDC people who felt the public display of dollar was a problem. And they vocalized their dissatisfaction of what has happened. It's good. If we have political parties serving as church,
this one, it may also be because some people may be saying it because look, why you are a young man, you got this position and you are doing this.
That one is there. That one is there, but some do genuinely.
Some envy, jealousy.
Oh no,
exactly. See, people feel there's been some edidija.
Some will do that, but genuinely, some, as he said.
No, I get that. See, I've always, and I've sat on this platform and said that in this country, sometimes we vote government out of power, out of jealousy, many a times. And I witnessed this firsthand when I was on campus in 2007, before the 2008 elections. See,
you said which one is that your home?
Commonwealth, yes, I'm a Vanda. Yeah,
the hooligans.
So, see, you know, President Akufo-Addo. When he was a candidate at Akufo-Addo, he had a very beautiful picture of he supporting his jaw. And the message was that he was thinking about Ghana. Like more, in essence, he was coming to work for Ghana. That was 2008, before the elections. On campus, we were there, and you see the V8, the 2007 registered V8, brand new. You see the poster of the flag bearer of the MPP then, because the MPP was in power. The young people had just gathered and said, hey, these people will send them to opposition and see how they behave. That's the conversation. Just because the cars that were moving that bore the posters of the candidate then, flashy cars, V8 and what have you. The rhetoric was that these guys will send them to opposition and see how they behave in opposition. And it runs true. Sometimes a word you utter can get somebody to just feel like, let me send you to opposition. Sometimes how you walk in power can get somebody to say that I'll send you to opposition.
How you have not even greeted.
That's the point. So the optics are very important, especially for people in power. The optics are very important. So yes, I agree that some of the NDC people who had issues with what had happened, it's probably because of jealousy. But others also felt that it's too early for our government to be
encountering these things.
Exactly. So, lesson learned. I'm not sure anybody should lose his job over this.
Right.
And thank God nobody lost his job.
But you were talking about reprimand. What kind of?
He was warned, so he was cautioned.
Okay. But you were saying that you would have expected.
Okay,
something.
so I wanted an apology rather than what Sammy Gyamfi had posted.
Right.
Probably a formal written apology to all of us, because the original one was to the party people. Comrades, if you pull it out right now, it was to the party people, right? But I'm not sure it was the sensibilities of only the party people that were offended by this. So I felt, okay, we could have had a general apology for everybody, the entire country, probably from the presidency. But the presidency then looked at the apology and said, it suffices. Yes. It's still an apology.
I am not sure whether what he posted was what he actually sent to the Jubilee House.
Okay, maybe he might have written.
Yes, I am not sure about that.
Okay, then that answers the question.
Exactly. We may not be sure what he posted on this thing might not be the same he sent to Jubilee House.
Because we understand he was correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
but then also Phyllis doesn't touch on that.
Yes, he doesn't. He just said he apologized. So I'm saying that's why I'm saying that the apology, a different apology might have gone to Jubilee House. That's but what he posted might not be a formal one because of probably the agitations from within his party. That he decided to satisfy his full soldiers. But the formal apology would have been taken to Jubilee House.
That's it. Like I said, he's many people were saying his political career was over, and I said, Abba, Charlie, let's not just throw away.
I will not wish this for my enemy. Look, he's a young man, but as he said, he needs to learn a lot.
Oh yes.
Look, he's not just, I'll repeat this, he's not just a party national communication officer. Now he's holding a position that internationally everybody is looking at that institution. So the way he conducts himself is very important, and it should be a lesson learned.
Yeah, finally, and I said that, see, the wholesale condemnation is untenable, and then the wholesale defense is equally untenable.
Yeah, that's right.
You see, you can love Sammy Gyamfi, and many people do, and still say that you agree with him that was an indiscretion that should not happen again, right? That's it. You can equally hate him because he's giving you headaches politically and what have you.
You know, even last week I had issues with him. Is it last week? About what he said about CJ.
Yes.
I had issues with him even last week.
Yes. So you can equally hate him and still say that you don't think you should kill a fly with a sledgehammer. Right. Yeah.
But our president is used to that. As for him, he can even kill a person with a bulldozer.
But the president himself has also had his own share of challenges this week because he was out of the country while the speaker was also not in the jurisdiction. Vice president, we also know, and so minority said this was, in fact, not just the minority. At a point, even governance analysts were saying that this is a constitutional crisis, and then the president should take some urgent steps to come back to the country. And so minority says we are even working on processes to impeach the president. Awudu.
Yes. That trip he went to, the visit, was it a day's trip? Even if it is hours. Look, President, when he was traveling, knew actually he was going to visit his vice president, our vice president.
Yes.
So automatically he was outside the jurisdiction of this country, out.
Yeah.
At the time he was leaving, the speaker was also out of the country.
Yeah.
Then the president then decides that he will also leave. Now, even the fourth person in line has been suspended. I don't know whether this acting could have taken
that's where the conversation is, that once he's acting as everything Chief Justice can do, including acting as president.
So he could not have been sworn in?
He could have been sworn in. No. So we don't even know. In fact, government has not spoken to this as to whether Bafuboni was sworn in or not.
Where would he have been sworn in? Where? Who would have sworn him in?
By whom?
By who?
Okay, that's what you meant.
Yes.
That's what you meant, that because the speaker is outside.
Yes.
Oh, but the speaker has...
Who would have sworn in the
deputy,
the CJ?
First deputy and second deputy. They could act in the stead of the speaker.
but they didn't act.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That we don't have an update as to what happened.
As to what really
it didn't happen. They don't say we don't have information. It didn't happen. Look, I remember the 8 years of Akufo-Addo Bawumia government. 2 of them, probably because the speaker was
from the other side.
Both of them never traveled at the same time, never left this country at the same time. And now you have a speaker who was outside the country. We all know about our vice president, what medical care, attention. Yeah. And you go to visit. So all 3 were outside the country. I remember even when former speaker Ajahu was sworn in once, and the second one, he said because he was sworn in, he should not be sworn in again. That was a subject of Supreme Court issue. And the Supreme Court decided that, look, anytime both the president and the vice president left the country, you were supposed to be sworn in. And that is it. Now, in this case, all 3 were outside. Look, I think that this year, because they are using their absolute majority in parliament, and because of that, I think they are beginning to misbehave. They are misbehaving. But they should be very careful. It is some of these things. Before 2016, we had an election that never happened before. On 2016, let me say that. In 2016, election happened that the result of that, never happened in the Fourth Republic. We all know that. Yeah. The result that the first time a sitting president was taken out, voted out with the number that we had. It didn't happen. But I think following that, MPP did not learn its lessons based on the figures that they have. I think they did some of these things that the current government is doing. And then they lost everything within 4 years. Now, I think that this current administration, as I said, looking at their huge figures, and they are misbehaving. Everything they do, you will see clearly that they are looking at the numbers. Even if the minority were to bring anything to parliament, we'll have the numbers to dismiss it. Right. But you see, when you do that, Ghanaians are watching. This is a constitutional matter that at any point that one of you is outside the country, then the other should be sworn in. And all this time, all of them are out. Now, if a minority were even to start a impeachment process, it will be of something, not for the, I don't know how to put it. It will be of no consequence because at the end of it all, minority doesn't have the numbers to impeach the president. But you see, you have brought some issues up that, look, you are violating the constitutional provisions. But just because you have your numbers, you have your way. Ghanaians are watching. You know, when you win power, many people have said that it is not actually the opposition that wins power in this country. It is governing party that actually loses elections because of your behavior. And I will see what the minority will do. Parliament will be resuming on 27th.
Yes.
I know those issues will be raised. Myself and IB will be in Parliament to observe things. And we'll see how this whole movie will play out. But if you look at all the things here, minorities and majority is doing, NDC is doing. If you look at all the decisions they are taking, all the things that are happening, the happening is because of the numbers. The numbers can change in 4 years drastically. So Ghanaians are watching the way you behave will show whether you stay or you go.
Right.
And politicians, they seem not to learn.
Ivy.
Well, so we are here because of one judgment that came from the Supreme Court, that's Dateba, saying that inability to act means that when the president is outside the jurisdiction, the president doesn't have the capacity to act. And so, per the Constitution, when the president is outside the country, the vice president becomes the president automatically.
Just a minute. All right. You know, this thing you have raised, I have sat on that day. Yeah. And I said, I do not understand why this thing provision should be in our Constitution. I said it here. I don't know why when our president, in this digital age, our president goes to US. Yes. and we say that he cannot perform his duties, and he's outside because he's outside, he cannot perform his duties. I have said it that constitutional provision will have to be looked at. Trump is in Middle East. I don't know whether he has finished. Middle East, there is nobody sworn in as president in United States. He's still the president wherever he is. I don't know why our president travels to London, 6-hour journey, and he cannot perform his duty, and therefore somebody will have to be sworn in.
He's out of the jurisdiction.
Yes. And so it ended up by the court. So the Supreme Court gave a judgment, and like I said, it was decided by Justice Datema.
Yes.
So as we have it now,
it's a law.
That's the law. But it is the law that has created the confusion. Because I agree with Awudu wholeheartedly that inability to act doesn't mean that just because you are outside the jurisdiction, you are unable to act. Right? That's why I even had a problem when we're told that on the Sammy Gyamfi issue, a decision will be made when the president returns. I feel the president, wherever he was, could have just given directive, because the chief of staff had actually
people are signing documents outside,
met the said gentleman. So the point I'm making is that I get the point the minority is making, but it was not a very popular crusade to wage. You see, so the question about where was the president? The president was outside. Okay, the vice president has not been well for a while. She's been catered for. Okay, so who is the president? Right? It was not a very popular conversation to have because people didn't really care. But I think once it's a constitutional matter, it's worth speaking to. Somebody should just return to the Supreme Court for the Supreme Court to undo its judgment. For us to know that it doesn't matter where the president is, but the president can act. He can act. But even the American president who has access to the nuclear head codes.
That one, it is not just a ruling. I think
no, but here's the thing. The Constitution talks about the fact that when the president is outside, when the president travels, the vice president acts automatically. But then when the vice president is equally outside the country,
the speaker
acts. But the argument was that all the time the speaker needed to be sworn in. Right? And somebody took it to court. Because GHOne decided not to be sworn in. He says
once he was sworn in once, that was it.
Then somebody took it to court. And then this judgment came. And the judgment reinforced the point that when the president is outside the jurisdiction, he's incapacitated. Does that even make sense?
There is incapacitation.
You see,
that's the only problem. But I have the problem with the fact that when the president travels, somebody will have to, the vice or speaker will have to be sworn in. Even in that constitutional provision, I have a problem with it in the first place.
Even before the judgment.
Even before the judgment. I have argued that, look, many countries, why must it be? Because we have probably put this provision in our constitution because of our cool mentality. That who is in charge? Somebody may just take a gun and say the president is overthrown, he's outside. Because of probably what happened to Nkrumah and Nkrumah. That's why we put that provision. But I don't see sense in it in this current dispensation.
Exactly.
So constitutional amendments, you look at that. If a president travels outside this country, he's still the president. He can perform duties of this country as the president wherever he is.
Everywhere. And because of the same fear that he talked about, Bagbe never got to be president. Bagbe never got to, because Akufo-Addo decided not to leave.
No, he left. He left.
But Bawumia is there.
So anytime Bawumia left, Akufo-Addo was around.
The two of them should leave. So at least Bagbe could have become president.
But you never know what he could have done.
So
Bagbe, the man was even a lot of fanatics
to become a president.
Imagine the opposition is sworn in as president.
So then he decided to do it. It is something that people say it cannot be done. I say, well, somebody would do it. You have a stubborn vice president who will be sworn in, decide to do reshuffle. Why? Is he not the acting president? That's the absurdity of the whole thing I'm talking about.
The powers to do that.
Yes, he's the acting president. He's a president.
So maybe in this case, finally on this, the assumption could be that if indeed Bafuboni, they wanted to get Bafuboni sworn in, that could have been done. But just that probably the think Parliament is on recess. But of course, even with that,
you can be called.
Even with that, you can be called. It could be done, and you don't need a whole house to witness that. So it could have been done. But I think somebody felt it could be superfluous, right?
It cannot be superfluous. Based on law, it cannot be. It has to be done. Look, the minute, as for the law, it takes care of even the minute testing. So this one is a constitutional breach, whether you like it or not.
But the impeachment in the nobody should come and waste our time.
Oh, but in fact, I encourage. We want to hear the thing. No, let's enjoy the debate on the floor of Parliament. Let's enjoy. Let's enjoy the debate.
Anyway, let's
It's never been done before.
Right.
This
as an impeachment. No, what's the name? Dominic Aini. Dominic Nitu.
That one.
The record part.
That one did not end nowhere.
No,
that one at GHOne.
Yes, and then he
just said that the thing was with Shraj, and therefore Parliament was not going to
but the process was initiated.
Yes, I know that. But I'm talking of this one. It's a different matter. That one was about. I'm sure it was about
the Ford.
The Ford. But this one. It's a serious. That one was a minor. This is a serious constitutional.
But did you hear Franklin Kodjo? He said we didn't even know that Ghana had no leader within that period. Everything was
absolute rubbish. That's absolute nonsense. We are talking about constitution. Ghana didn't notice. Why? People notice. If he didn't notice, we notice. Is he the only Ghanaian?
The country was autopilot. Nobody knew that the pilot was there.
Because it was very this is civil. This is governance thinking, and I think that look. People who are saying that they are governance people, these are the governance people. These are the things that, look, the first thing you have to do is the respect of the constitution. If you disobey this constitution, we'll be in a state of anarchy. John Hobbes, we should remember John Hobbes. Look, we should not joke with our constitution, no matter how people look at it. Our constitutional provisions must be respected. That's why people talk about due process. It's about the constitution. So that if there's a breach, you think that because the dollar is stable, dollar is coming down, we have, my goodness.
But I mean, the good thing is that Bafo Ajimandia, Prof, and others were equally saying that this it's a breach. It's a serious.
That's what I should. He has been championing a lot of things. He's been my goodness, this country. In fact, probably his is coming. A lot of the neutrals are being appointed by this administration. Maybe his is on the way. If not, this is.
Awudu, let's move on. So the Pwamang committee yesterday they started
total confusion.
Yes. We snooped around. We were told it's not. Yes, clearly it's not open to the public. We understand the CJ was not there, but her lawyers were there. They were setting modalities. So it looks like finally the committee has started its work as promised by the administration, and we are told that from next week they will sit again next week Thursday. Then they will set proper modalities as to sitting 3 times in a week on this matter.
I don't know. Yesterday I listened to one of our colleagues. He said that when the letter was given to the suspended CJ, she was not given the venue where the sitting was going to be held. Right. She was not given the venue. He just said that we are starting the thing, and she then wrote to this. Justice Tokoni then wrote to the committee that look, I'm supposed to appear before you today. There's no venue, so where do I meet you? So they then write to tell her the venue, and I hear it's around the castle. Yeah. That's a wider area.
Oh, we have the venue too. First was
there's a lot of rooms at the Supreme Court. A lot of my goodness, a lot of places. That place
they want to be close to the sea.
To see the breeze, sea
breeze, and then we can have proper conversations.
Yes. And I hear the lawyers are Mr. Chachuchikata for Ofori, and then this man Tadio for one of the petitioners.
Okay, the petitioners and their lawyers. I thought you were talking about lawyers for the Chief Justice.
No. That's for lawyers for Chief Justice. I don't know the lawyers.
Right. Yeah.
You do know the lawyers?
The identity has not been. But yesterday they were there. But the identity has not been put out. But we will know.
We'll know. By all means. When they say so, in camera, you definitely.
But we know that it is not Godfrey Dami. That we know for sure.
I would have criticized it if it were Godfrey Dami. It would not have made sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So, because there are a lot of equally good lawyers around who can. But you see, this whole thing, the lawyers involved, Chachuchi Kata, You can go for if you have your litigation, you can go for any lawyer of your choosing. So that was no problem. But I'm a bit curious about the way things are panning out. First of all,
doesn't intimidate you?
It doesn't. Look, yeah, lawyer. He was in court with something handled matters that NDC lost.
Exactly.
So it's not be a problem, but it's some curiosity there. What's the name? So the CJ, when they went, as I said, she was not given the venue. Now later and her lawyers went and they said, what I'm hearing, what I heard from our colleagues, they said they were not going to hear. The committee said it wasn't going to hear the lawyer or the lawyers of Justice Tukono, because she herself was not present. That she needed to be present herself. But if that were the case, I would find it a bit weird, because, well, if they say that this is strictly a criminal matter, then that's fine. But if it were a criminal matter, it will not be handled this way. People go to court, their lawyers represent them without their presence. I don't know whether constitutionally she has to be physically present at all times.
Right.
So what we heard, that because she was not physically present, is that the case could not go on. That's understand. I think that should not be. Probably that was not what happened. But that's what I heard from our colleague, and therefore it has been rescheduled to May 22nd.
Yes, next Thursday.
Or to be. I would have wished that, even though it's constitutional, that it should be held in camera, because whatever is going to happen there will be out. Any daily occurrence, this in camera here, mark it on this wall, it will be out there. You people are sniffing around all the time. Anything that will happen in camera will be out. I would have wished that, look, will it violate the constitution? I have not looked at that constitutional provision that it should be held in camera. Is this Article 146?
Yeah, 146.
146. Does it use shall or may?
So all proceedings, that's 1468. All proceedings under this article shall be held in camera. Shall be held in camera. And the justice or the chairman against whom the petition is made is entitled to be heard in his defense by himself or by a lawyer or other expert of his choice.
So that information cannot be true.
Right.
Information that the case was not heard because she was not physically present. No, I think that one cannot be true based on this provision, because she knows the law and two words probably. So I would have wished that this will be held in public for obvious reasons. This is a serious matter that you are going to take out the head of third arm of government. The hearing of that matter should be made public for everybody to see whether the outcome of it will actually warrant her dismissal.
Right.
So I don't know why this has been put in this way, that you are going to take out the head of third arm of government, and that the processes leading to that should be held in camera. Why? Can you hazard any reasoning behind this?
You see, I'm surprised.
That's what I'm talking.
I'm surprised you concluded that you are going to take out.
Take out what?
You are going to take out. So the committee's work is to remove Tokono. That's what you are saying.
No. I'm saying that. No.
So
not this one.
That you are going to conduct a hearing of
that may. Okay, let me change. That may take out. Okay. Let me put it that way. That has a possibility of taking out a third arm of government. Yeah. I don't know why this. Can you hazard the reason why?
That you hazard the reason not be taken out. But some of the disclosures there might be injurious, even upon her return to occupy her office. That's why it's held in camera. So whatever happens there,
but it's a 50-50 thing.
That's the thing.
She may be cheated. She may be, because we don't have the full listen of that. Things may go against her. That if they were shown in public, those things will not go against her. She may be favored in camera, that if things were shown,
I get that.
Nobody gets to.
Nobody. So that is it, because it's a serious matter. Even how do you call it? When we had 2012 election petition, people appealed to the NCJ that look, show it public. It was never done. It has never been done. It's been done, and since then,
That's because he has that discretionary power.
Yes, this one was a discretionary, it's constitutional.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I said I wish this provision were not there, so that you are looking at the possibility of taking out the head of third arm of government, and therefore whatever we do, Ghanaians should see whether she's really committed those sins that she's accused of.
Right.
But as it is now, we will only hear gossips. People will go in, they'll go in there in camera. At the end of the day, all that was supposed to be in camera will be out there. And I'll also be nosing, because everybody will know for information whatever happened. And it will be out there, I'm telling you.
But the petitions have been circulated. So
yes.
Why would the hearing not be made public?
Exactly.
But the difference between that will be you will be dealing with reported speeches instead of
we've seen it exactly
directly. So,
and just before that, there have been cases, they've been suits filed at the Supreme Court.
Yes.
There's another one,
Yes.
Two actually. Two individuals, one by census, led by my own friend Kabila's institution, census. Let me look at the name.
Census.
Yes. I wanted to get the full name. So they are in court seeking interpretation of some constitutional provision that, based on those provisions, the prima facie and all that should be null and void, and also should stop the committee from sitting. Now the committee is going to sit on, as you said, on the 2nd. When will the case be held? They just filed they filed the cases yesterday, the two. So because they are artists, they may be put together too. So when will the acting CJ call the case? This matter of is an urgent matter. I think that the Supreme Court should look at these cases before
Thursday,
before 22nd. It can be done. You look at, if you are suspending the committee's work, the Supreme Court should be able to determine that. If the committee's work will continue, the Supreme Court should be able to determine that, so that these cases are off, they are taken out. Because if you don't do that and you go ahead, it will look like deliberately people have filed processes to stop the committee's work. You have not bothered to look at those cases, and then you are going ahead. It will look like you don't care. And that's why I'm saying that, look, we all talk of processes. It's about the process. So this is a due process that they have taken, these private individual citizens have taken. Let's look at them, their cases in God. If they merit what they are asking for, then you give it to them. If they don't, you throw them out, and then the process will continue.
Well, on the processes that have been filed, I think the Supreme Court will have to walk a very fine line. There's a reason why the Pwamang Committee is to sit 3 times a week. Expedition is of essence here. You cannot suspend the Chief Justice and keep her in abeyance for a very long time. The reason why I say the Supreme Court will have to walk a very thin line, and a fine line, is that these processes that have been filed will not end at these 2. In fact, after the 3 petitions, you know that there were 2 more petitions that way. So they will be back and forth, forward and back. And these matters will not be.
Why are they not adding the 2 petitions?
I have no idea.
Strategy is something.
The point must
I have my view already on this CJ thing. So
Vincent Assefua's case, together with all the others that were filed, were dispatched with. If you look at their legs, similar to the legs of Kabila and what they have filed. At the point, the Supreme Court, I think, and I suspect, will make a determination that these things are just to throw spanners into the works. Let's get this thing done and over with. Is he returning? The committee's report is ready. This is the recommendation. Is he going? That is it. So we don't have this uncertainty of, suspended. For how long is he going to remain suspended? You get the point. Expedition is of essence here. And I suspect the Supreme Court will treat these new applications with the same mindset. You get the point I'm making. Otherwise, you dispatch these 2, additional ones will come.
So what mindset?
The mindset that if they are similar to those you've dispatched with, attend to them equally and then make a pronouncement. At the point, you have to pull the brakes. At the point, the court will have to pull the brakes. Otherwise, we'll make no progress. The same argument are made over.
You cannot pull a bridge when they are seeking the original jurisdiction of the highest court of the land.
But you see, if it's not injunction application, yes, that's no problem.
Yes.
If it doesn't come inherently with injunction application, that's not a problem.
That's not.
Domelevo's dismissal.
Yes.
After he had been given some appointment somewhere tailing, that was when the judgment came 3 years later.
Yes. This thing,
but the petition came.
This thing, even as you mentioned Asifa is saying that, but the reasoning will come
21st.
Yeah. Is it that based on the reasoning, we'll decide whether to go for review or not.
Meanwhile, the next day,
yes, this one is sitting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I think that because the committee cannot be faulted for fixing 22nd.
No.
Because they
The
will not
committee actually did well.
Yes.
By not conducting any hearing until the case was dispatched at the Supreme Court. Right. Now, Awudu, let me land, then you come in.
Okay.
Now, the reason why I think the committee was not so enthused about the absence of the Chief Justice is that it's the very first day. And where we are, the society that we find ourselves in, people read a lot of meanings to draw conclusions of disrespect. People read a lot of meanings into many things to draw conclusions of disregard or disrespect. So if what I would be saying is anything to go by, I think the committee will have felt that this is the very first day, like my first day at school, right? So let everybody be here. If that's the waste, that's okay. But there was nothing illegal about the woman choosing not to come.
Because based on law.
What I read.
11468.
Yes.
You can either speak for yourself or be represented by your lawyers. You can be present and choose not to talk and allow your lawyers to talk for you.
Yes.
Right? So maybe the panel thinks that the committee feels that even if she will not talk, she should have been there.
Her presence would have been solicited.
Moving forward, I'm sure she will show.
Well, she can. You see, this thing about you can be represented by. But there are times that she may be sit. I don't know whether I'll call it witness box.
Yeah.
For questioning by lawyers of the petitioners.
Yeah.
Obviously that time will appear.
Yes.
And the petitioners will also be cross-examined by lawyers. These things will happen.
Yes.
And I was thinking that's where we would have seen the actual drama. If this were public, so Ghanaians will all be watching and seeing this.
Yes.
So that if you accuse somebody of A, B, C, D, you have to prove that everybody will see it. Exactly.
I get that, but that's why the committee's reports and their recommendation is actually binding on the president. So whatever recommendation the committee arrives at, if after it's all said and done, the president so chooses to make that report public, we'll all be privy to what transpired. But like we said, thanks to the work of journalists, we'll get to know how proceedings pan out.
Regardless of the fact
that it's in camera, we'll get to know. But like I said, expedition is of essence here. Let's have a finality to this.
They may be join this reportage.
You see, and that fortunately, this case has two parties with separate interests.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So the MPP has its own interest.
Yes.
The NDC has its own interest.
Yes.
At the point,
we all know NDC's interest is to get this lady out. The Chief Justice out.
Okay, so NDC
that's their interest. because they've all said it. Look,
but the government says they're allowing due process to take place.
Oh, you see, due process. When Charlie, this due process thing,
the law is the law.
The law is the law. Yes, I asked since 1992. In fact, beginning from 1995 or so. I told you that they've been through due processes, but no president has allowed this process to reach this level. No president, from even Rawlings, who was considered a military man, did not allow this process to reach where it is. So let's see how the due process will go, and this due process will continue as long as this constitution lives.
Well, interesting. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens in the coming days to get to understand exactly how this will pan out. But then let's talk about the Cedi.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Cedi. And I've heard defense. Sometimes I get confused in the defense that I'm hearing. You know. So yes. We are told that our gold board and the work they are doing, showing up, our reserves being shored up with gold, has given strength to the Cedi. Others said, let's talk about the fact that, well, we have exogenous factors, I mean, external factors that are also accounting for this.
Yes.
But then, I mean, the key point is that in all of this, we all want to experience the fact that the Cedi has actually gained strength.
Yes.
So if I go to buy gobe, I should see it reflected there. If I'm buying groceries, I should see it reflected there. But unfortunately, that is not happening. And that has forced government to now even make a call on traders to reduce price. Let me start with you, IB, on this one.
Well, so yesterday, and let me say good morning to.
I think IB likes Gobe a lot.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, he does.
I do. If your income is at my level, Gobe will have to be your friend.
How does Gobe
for the masses?
With
We
your
the masses. Hey. In fact,
when you buy your gobe,
yes,
and I know the kind of gobe you buy.
Every food in this country has its level. Oh.
Exactly.
So gobe has its level. There's certain gobe you and I cannot go there.
The low gobe level. That's where
say
I am.
that.
Yeah, no.
Say that. Don't say.
The very moment I had to spend 10 cedi, and that was a few months or if not about a year ago, when gobe, everything with accoutrement hit 10 cedi. In fact, we had to do a feature on it because it was unprecedented. 10 cedi gobe, how? Because gobe maximum 7 cedi with all the accoutrement should be okay. Then again, now it's even way beyond 10 cedi. If 10 cedi cannot get you gobe with the accoutrement, then that's a problem.
It will get you gobe with oil and gari.
Can you imagine? If you don't take a time, can they even want to even sell the gari to us? As the watches sellers do. You see. Anyway, and you know how they slice the cocoa now?
There's no cocoa.
It's plantain chips.
It's small. Yes.
In fact, cocoa is in short supply now.
That's why it's very now. Cocoa is like plantain chips.
I was in Agbogloshi 2 weeks ago.
There's no cocoa.
It was 250.
Yeah. There's no cocoa now.
And that is supposed to be cocoa.
But you see, unfortunately,
which will rot very soon.
Very well. You see, unfortunately, the benefit does not get to the farmer. You see, and I'm from a farming community.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking that the woman that's selling that plantain, a bunch of plantain, right, for the 250 cedis, went to the farm gate and bought it at 20 cedis.
Very likely.
Can you imagine? That injustice in the farming system and the value chain is something that if any government is able to address, farmers will be better off. But unfortunately, we are not. They will tell you that transportation costs. They will tell you that this. They will tell you that. And the farmer is always shortchanged. That's a conversation for another day. Back to where we are with the Cedi. So the Cedi has gained strength. Yes, the dollar has taken some beatings at the global level because of Trump and how he's gone about with his tariffs. But it's also factual that it's not every currency that's making gains against the dollar. You get the point? So if the Cedi is making gains because the dollar is taking a beating, then the Naira must equally make a gain because it's a bigger economy than Ghana's economy, right? But unfortunately, that's not the case. The Nigerian Naira is making losses against the dollar. At the point, even the euro was making losses against the dollar. 3 days ago, the dollar gained 1.2 percentage gain against all the other trading partners, the pound sterling, the euros. The dollar gained 1.2%. The Cedi, the same day, made a gain of 1.6% against the dollar. That should tell you that it's not just the fact that the dollar is taking a beating. That's how come the Cedi has gained some strength. There's a method to the madness, and the method is this. This government has some momentum because it's a new government. It has goodwill. Again, the budget that was presented brought back some confidence into the economy. You saw S&P upgrade Ghana's rating.
Yes.
Again, the difficult measures that had been put in place by the previous administration that we're all crying over, including the debt exchange program, has ensured that we don't pay our debt at the rate as we used to, even though we will pay. Now, the BOG has equally put in place some measures. The finance ministry, some policy measures as well. So all this come together to strengthen the Cedi. We've not started spending that much. But guess what the advantage is? So somebody will say, if you start spending, it means that the cedi will automatically lose ground against the dollar. That cannot be the case. See, if we are able to hold on to this for the rest of even this month, the cedi is able to maintain its momentum for the rest of this month. When we start spending and it's even supposed to make losses, it will not be as steeper as it ought to be. Given where we came from all the way to 12 point something, right? If it is to lose momentum, it will be at a very manageable rate. Nobody is saying that the cedi's gains against the dollars will be in perpetuity, because that will even be inimical to the economy, right? Given the economy we run and the weight of this economy, we cannot say that our cedi should go back to one cedi, $1. It cannot happen. That we will be living in a fool's paradise with that kind of mentality. But there should be some certainty. It's good for planning and business. If you know that within a space of 1 year, our cedi will not lose grounds by, say, 20 to 30% against the dollar. So when you are taking business decisions, you can plan. Same with inflation. If we are able to bring inflation down to an appreciable level, and the inflation is simply put the rate at which prices change, we should be able to deal with that. So, yes, this government is allowed to take all the credit for the stability of the cedi. Because even if it's accidental, that accident happened under them. So that's it.
But the MPP says they built the foundation.
No problem.
In terms of the gold reserves.
You see,
so they should. Let me tell you, credit the MPP.
In 2017, right? 2017, on this same platform, we had a conversation about how the IMF program that we're under had projected the growth levels for 2017, 2018, and the way forward. How government was made to swallow the bitter pills, then leading to some extent even the loss of the elections. But the conversation then was that no. It's a goodwill from the new government. It's the fact that the finance minister Kenuforiata had rolled out good measures and what have you. It was the fact that we had gone to the bond market to borrow money and what have you. So the politicians are allowed to play this chess game. Now I come to you and I. Guta and AGI are telling us that we should give them 2 months. 1, 2. If you go by days, 60 days for them to reduce, or for us to feel the impact of the cedi stability, which will reflect in the reduction of prices. Yesterday, when I was coming from the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, a taxi driver saw me and approached me directly. And he appealed to me that we should not allow Guta, and he knows I'm a journalist, so all of us here should not allow Guta, AGI, and Fabag to do what they want to do. Because if it had been that the cedi had lost ground against the dollar, it would have been automatic. Because they will tell you that if they are going to restock,
they would have to pay more.
But now they are feeding us with this excuse that
they bought goods when the dollar was 16 cedis. So if they make a mistake now, they will suffer. I'll come back and tell you something about that one. But we'll go for a quick break. This is the breakfast review segment on the GH Today. I'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
Pepper powder, pepper ojawo, sankofa pepper powder, sankofa, sankofa, powder, sankofa pepper powder, sankofa pepper powder, sankofa pepper powder, sankofa powder,
the show. So before we went on that break, Ibrahim Alhassan was giving us his position on the matter and how come Guta and Fabag are now having to call on members to reduce prices, but they say, you know what, give us 60 days. So is that the leadership did not know that the members will need 60 days to be able to start reducing?
Yes, because they issued a statement that their members should drop their prices. See, what is shocking is the position of Guta. See, nobody can tell me that since the Cedi started making gains, they've not added to their stock. They've not imported things. They've not cleared goods. We've seen receipts of people making savings to the tune of 30,000 Ghana cedis on import duties for clearing of vehicles. If they had cleared those vehicles 2 months ago, how much they were paid compared to how much they are paying now. And then Guta wants to tell us that it will take them 60 days for their members to sell their old stock. Okay, let's give them some business advice. If they marginally even decide to drop the prices, they'll be able to dispatch off the old stock at a very accelerated rate. They can now restock, because we all know, nobody is kidding himself or herself that the Cedi's momentum will be there forever. At a point, the Cedi will also lose ground to the dollar, especially now that China and the US have entered into an agreement, and then the tariff war is almost over. Now that the Arabians are rolling pink carpet for Trump and they are gifting him $200 million aircraft.
Only a stupid person will raise it.
400 million, yes, $400 million aircraft.
He said he's going to keep it at the museum. He will use
eventually
it.
when he leaves. No, he will use it as a presidential jet now. But when he leaves office, he has a foundation, that the Trump Foundation, and they will build a library for him. The US does that for all their former presidents. So he will surrender it to the foundation.
But he cannot use it now because you know the Air Force One.
He's going to replace it. That's the point. I'm telling you what the guy has said.
Well, they have to do
retrofitting and everything. He's gotten all that covered.
I hear it's very comfortable. $400 million plane.
Yes. It must be comfortable.
Yeah, it must be comfortable.
Stupid person will say
you see, so we are here talking about our president receiving vehicles as gifts. Others are receiving aircraft.
No, but don't go there. Don't go there.
The president has surrendered those vehicles.
His minister should not receive.
Oh, no, you're not getting it. He has surrendered those vehicles back to the state. 2 vehicles.
Why? Do you know the people who gave him the gifts?
No, that was not disclosed. If you know, you can tell us.
Why were they not? So if something happened,
so you want to call for disclosure? Call.
Why not? Okay, I am asking the president on this show that disclose the donors of those vehicles. Yes, we have to know the donors.
We must know.
We must know because
we know where Trump's
for a reason. We saw Kanazoe when he gave that for. He had a road project, and after the construction of 2 years after that road, potholes were developed. We need to know. Kanazoe was given a project to construct a wall at Burkina Faso. Okay. You know how much it was charged for just a fence wall? Over $500,000. So let's know the people.
No, I get that, but so that inflated, right?
It's not about inflation.
No, you're not getting me. So if a contractor does a poor job, there are remedies.
Yes.
In the
contract. That's not. Even getting the contract to the pay.
If somebody awards a contract, I get that. No,
let's see the people whether in future they will be getting some contracts.
I get that. No, and I have no qualms about that. It's because he brought it.
You brought gifts. You brought Mahama.
I didn't bring anything.
You said Mahama got 2 and gave it
recently 2, and then surrendered them to the state and declared.
So his ministers can also take the gifts and declare.
He says that you cannot take a gift above 20,000 Ghana. It's in the code of conduct.
Yes.
Right?
This code of conduct thing, I spoke about it.
Yes. So the limit doesn't go.
So I want to know who gave the president those things.
No problem. And you've made your call.
Want to know.
Right. You've made your call. So on the Cedi, finally on the Cedi conversation.
Right.
I think that the traders should take us seriously.
Good.
Yes, we say kudos to the handlers of the economy for the stability. We say kudos to the past handlers of the economy for whatever foundation or whatever role they play.
The reserves.
That's okay. We say that let's encourage more of the gold purchase policy. Let's have it done. We say that let's fine-tune the operations of gold board to ensure that nobody is left out. Everybody gets something. If it's your legitimate means of doing business, you are legitimately allowed to pursue your business and then earn a living. That's okay. But once the Cedi stabilizes, for 4 consecutive times, fuel prices have dropped.
And we are expecting another one in the next window, which is like today.
Exactly. GPRTU is also giving us timelines. as when they can ask their members to drop lorry fares.
Yes. I saw GPI to say they are giving government warning. I don't understand that story.
That's the pavements. The traders are taking over the pavements and making congestion. So AMA has also issued a directive that by Tuesday.
In fact, they trust people. They themselves should be disciplined.
They say it's because of the traders. That's why they are parking where they are parking.
Because traders
when you get the traders out, they'll park.
If you go to Domi,
the market.
No, if you pass the market, there's a bus stop. Okay. When you pass the market crowd, there's a station there. There's a parking. Okay. There are no traders on the road.
Okay. But
one car will be this day, and they will block the line.
Yeah,
double parking. Yeah. Charlie, let me go to the city.
Let's talk about the city.
Let me go to the city. You see why when I talk of Dr. Baumia, people think that we were talking of gold purchase program, domestic. Yeah. When MPP came 2017, the whole was about a little above 7 tons.
Yeah. The reserves,
gold, and this thing. By the time MP 8 years you were living, it was about 30.53 tons. That's how much they bought this thing. This government has come, they've continued. They've also added 0.84 tons to the gold reserve. And that is part of the reason why our dollar is gaining. You just alluded to that. It's good for us.
Yes.
We'll continue. One government starts something, the next one comes and continues. But that's the foresight the former vice president had, that let's start this, and they implemented it. Now the Cedi, I was looking at the interbank rate now. What is it? 12.70, right?
Yeah, 12.70.
Okay. As of I was just looking at some figures here. 6 January 2025, before interbank rate was 14.7 for buying, 14.7.
Right.
So it dropped by at least about 2 cedis. That's significant.
Very.
That's significant. This government can take glory. Look, let them take the glory for it. As he said, the previous government also took glory for the changes. Remember that vice president said they had tamed the dollar and given the key to the IGP. These people are also behaving in the same manner, and I caution that if tomorrow they should make sure that key, they have not said they're giving the key to the IGP, but they are keeping the key somewhere. They should keep the key well tight, so that the dollar doesn't misbehave. Now there are a lot of factors. We're saying that this is public knowledge, that this government has not made any payments at all.
True.
Contractors have not been paid. Even some salaries have not been paid. There's no any serious expenditure. But they are doing it to keep the dollar. And maybe it's a policy that will help tame the dollar. That is good. Because you give that credit to them, even though some people may be suffering. It may be, in the long run, the good of this country, for the good of this country. But how sustainable will this be? If they begin to spend, if they begin to pay contractors and all that. If Trump is backtracking on his tariff thing. Last time, China and US have to slash their tariff thing by 115%, both ways. By 115%. All these things will change the dynamics. Things are happening. So let's see what happens. The dollar as it is now, I don't have dollars. So whether it increases or it doesn't matter to me. It is about what the expenditure we make in this country. The dollar, the Cedi stability or appreciation is supposed to reflect on goods and services in this country. So far, I don't see that.
Yeah.
The prices are still very high. Now you are telling Gute is saying that 2 months. Look, I'm not a politician. I think Gute is part of. I may be a politician one day, but today I can say I can call out Guta. Yeah. Politicians are always afraid of Guta, both MPP and DC, because they can bring you down, they can bring you up. That's what they've held governments to ransom. Why on earth? Look at the time that this Cedi has stabilized, and yet they are telling us, traders are telling us that it has to take them 60 days for them to reduce prices. We're just off a discussion that, look, if you were to reduce your prices, at least you look at a certain rate. If tomorrow you are going to buy, you are going to buy the goods at a reduced rate, at a lower rate. Yeah. So why do you think that we have to wait for 6 months? Are they assuming that by 2 months? Are they assuming that by that time the dollar would have gone up again?
Yeah, then that would mean that they've so changed you and I.
It means that the gains they have made, we have not benefited.
Yes.
Now fuel prices are down. Look, let's face it. Fuel prices have gone down drastically, and I'm happy for it. Yeah. And this government will have to take credit for it. I mean, when they do something, you criticize them. Exactly. But if something like this, you have to give it to them.
Give them their flowers.
Because I buy fuel, and I can see it at the pumps. The prices are down. I don't know how it's done, how it's happening. What I don't want to know is for prices to go down.
Yeah.
That's good enough. But the fuel prices reduction does not even lead to reduction in lorry fares for commuters.
Yeah.
Why?
They said
it does not lead to. Normally, when they increase prices, prices of foodstuff at the markets, they tell you that lorry fare cost. Now the fuel prices are down.
The argument is that that's not the only component that goes into their prices.
It's always been like that.
Their prices are also down because of the dollar.
Because of the dollar, the spare parts are supposed to be down.
A trading community.
So why are the prices not down? Why?
Well, the trade ministry, we are told, is engaging the traders to ensure that they really bring.
When this man said he even ordered GHOne to reduce, or no, not just GHOne, the cement manufacturing company, did they do it to reduce their prices?
No.
This country, Charlie. So
yes,
let's see what happens going forward. If the IB said that too much, if the Cedi appreciates too much too, it also has its consequences. If the dollar is weak, also has its, because we also export.
Exactly.
We also export.
Yeah. The bogus are crying.
The bogus are crying. I don't cry for them because they punish us enough. They hoarded the dollar.
Yeah.
And the dollar was so high.
Yeah. Now when they are sending money, what $100 would do?
This dollar. The reduction started around November, December.
Yeah.
The rate, the exchange, this thing started. I remember when we went to the climate change conference. COP29. Yeah. We got some few dollars, and guys were saying that, Charlie, let the dollar be high. The dollar was coming down.
When you have some, you wanted to
let the dollar be high, and the dollar was dropping. Guys were worried out there. But we came and the dollar was down. You have to take it like that. And
now it's going further.
Now it's going further down, and it's good in one way. But if it goes too much, it also has its consequences. But what we want to do is for prices in this country, it should reflect in prices, so that we all, Charlie, man, know the smile. Things are still very tough. Things are still very tough. As things have not changed much since January. In fact, things haven't changed in terms of living conditions. So if prices fuel prices are going down, it should reflect in the goods that we buy at the market.
Right.
Because these now they say it's a season. The plantain there is in short supply. Tomatoes. So
I bought 100 cedis worth of tomatoes, and I was asking if this is tomatoes.
Yes. It's a seasonal thing. They are all so prices are still very high, and we don't see these reductions reflect in the prices. But that's what we want as Ghanaians. Me, I've always said that the good thing, the thing we should all be wishing for is not just being with this party or that party. What all Ghanaians want is for us to have better life. And that's why there is competition of ideas, alternatives. That if this government is doing well and they are booted out, the next government should do well. If they are not also doing well, the election will come and they will be booted out. But as a Ghanaian, I always want things to be good for me, no matter which government is in power. That's my I don't wish that this government fails, because if they fail, we'll all be in trouble.
We'll suffer.
I want them to succeed in government. But when it comes to election time, that one, everybody knows where I am. I am totally off this political party in government. I am totally off. But we all want this country to be good for us. Look, the burden on citizens, Charlie, is very huge. But if the burden is reduced, we'll all be fine. We'll be smooth.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Briefly, on the seasonal thing that you mentioned, you see, I don't understand why Burkina Faso, that's almost desert, is able to roll out mechanisms to have all year-round production of tomato.
There's a whole topic.
No, that's the point. No, like we should be able to do that.
We have
planting because
agriculture.
Our agriculture is rain-fed. You cannot get anywhere with a rain-fed agriculture, and we learned this in basic school.
Oh,
we are here.
Politicians, look, how many times haven't we said that our politicians should like rice production? When you meet rice producers, what do they need? What do they need for government to support you to produce? You meet poultry people. What do they need to be able to produce at least 50% for this country? What do they need? Governments, they come and we have the same.
On the rice bed, the only advantage, the only good thing happening is that the politicians themselves have now become rice farmers, and that's good.
Yes.
When you go to parliament, many of the MPs are now rice farmers, and it's good. So it's at least.
I saw one MP who is now a minister. I saw his farm. I was like, wow.
Yes. In fact, I don't know whether I should mention my own brother. Inusa Husseini.
Oh yeah. He mentions. Oh no. Even Mutala mentions it openly.
Akando says he's a farmer.
They all have farmers.
Tanku, former Tanku.
He's now the regional chairman of East. They are all farming. They all have their farms. It's good. I think farming is something that if I have resources, I'll go into.
Look, I want to go to animal.
Yes, if you do it well, it's very lucrative. It's better than this our job. Far better than this our job. This is our job that politicians use us and dump us.
I didn't expect the show to end like this. But gentlemen, thank you so much. Awudu,
me have not been used though.
When I say used,
I'm
joking. He may think that Abi, you are used. No. Abi, you are even more used than me. You are sitting here, Abi. How many politicians have you two brought to this show?
Oh yeah, that one is true though. That we call them now that they don't pick. Yeah, you are right.
You call them, they don't pick. So you have used you have given them the platform. I'm not saying that.
No, I get that.
You've given them the platform, all that. But when now you call some, they don't pick their calls. They are your friends, so. So it is like, I'm not saying that they should give us dollars.
No. They know.
But they use it. Look, I speak a lot about relationship.
It's very important.
There are a lot of people I've done for in government, past government, and this government, and current. They are friends. In fact, the previous ones, they are people I have done things for. Some of them, for the 8 years, they never even pick my calls. MPP ministers. But that's not what I mean. I mean that, look, relationship is very important.
Very key.
So that if I do something for this, it should be reciprocal. There are a lot of people in NDC who are my friends, and they all know that. But when it comes to politics, they know I don't support their party. And let me say this opportunity to thank NDC Eastern Regional Women's Organizer, Shelley. We had a program at the Eastern region, and she received us.
Oh wow!
And a friend who is NDC affiliated, took us to a place. She took very good care of her. I ate proper fufu.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and she received us very well, knowing that who I am. She knows that I come to sit on this thing, and I actually chastise them. But she took me well, and that's how it should be. And as I said, I have a lot of friends in NDC. They know I don't support their party, but they live with me well, and I say this, I have more friends in NDC than MPP.
Obviously.
Everybody knows. Cedi knows.
I know.
No, but when it comes to politics, I argue with them. Principle. I argue with them. That's how it should be.
That's how it should be.
So, Shelley, NDC Women's Organizer, I say thank you very much for taking care of us.
On behalf of our brother Awudu. One day when we also come there.
Well, that's all time will allow us for this segment. It's been engaging and exciting for the Breakfast Review segment. Awudu Mahama, he is the managing editor of the Custodian newspaper, and of course my own boss Ibrahim Alhassan, EIB political desk head. He's also lead producer for GA Today, Star, and Morning Star on Star 103.5 FM, among other things. Also a parliamentary affairs correspondent. He's a big man. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Well, this is still GA Today here on GHOne television. We'll be right back after this. on television, and it's time to bring you Health Alert. That's something that is very, very important. We are looking at the importance of clear food labeling. How sure are you that when you pick that product, what is written on there is exactly what is in there? Are you sure what is written on there is what truly you're getting into your body? How and why is that important? And that's what our conversation is going to center on. And this morning, I'm privileged to be joined by Professor Kingsley K. Asare-Prekon, who is the Associate Professor, Department of Community Medicine, and also the Vice Dean of the School of Medical Sciences. And also, he's a big man, immediate past President of the Ghana Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. I also have Pearl Ehonam Selomba, who is PR for the Ghana Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And then also we are joined in studio this morning, Joseph Dankwa, General Secretary of the Ghana Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. Gentlemen and lady, welcome.
Thank you.
So let me start with you, Pearl. I mean, I know we're embarking on a campaign. So what is the campaign all about?
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to Ghanaians this morning. The whole campaign is about the push and advocacy for mandatory front of pack warning labels.
Okay.
Currently, we don't have that yet. We have labels, all right, but we want to get to the point where we have mandatory. The labeling should be made mandatory, meaning that if anybody is bringing in a new product, there are certain things that we would want to see highlighted so that if a consumer pick the products, they know what they are going in for.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you say that you want mandatory front of pack warning labels, how different is that from what we see currently?
So there are different types of labeling.
Okay.
What we are hoping to see is that currently with the disease burden also that we have in the country, and then also the malnutrition situation that we have, we're dealing with a triple burden of malnutrition, meaning that we have a population undernourished, a population overnourished, and we're also dealing with micronutrient deficiencies, meaning we have mothers, adolescents who are anemic, having all sorts of micronutrient deficiencies. We are battling as a country with all these malnutrition situations, and we are also having to deal with a high disease burden of non-communicable diseases. And we know that for the non-communicable diseases, it is related to what we eat, our dietary intake, the kind of snacks and foods that we consume. And so we feel that if consumers are well aware of what they are taking in a way they will take precaution when they are going
right. So the high disease burden, among others, is why we are pushing for this. But Prof, looking at this front of pack labels, as a consumer, how does that protect me?
Okay, that is fine. I think you asked a question earlier, and I'll just touch on that small before I get to this point. So our current labeling processes, it's much more of a reductive labeling where you have information about, let's say, the grams of sugar, the grams of this, the grams of that. But we ask ourselves, what does that mean? You need somebody to help you make meaning out of that, because there is also serving size that should tell you portion sizes within which you can consume that product, but people do not know. But what is different from what we are pushing for now is the fact that all these information, put it together, that information is supposed to be there. But let's have also a front of pack warning label that will warn us of what is in there after putting all that together. And that is what we call an interpretative kind of logo.
Right.
Where you would see a stop sign that has been written on excess sugar, excess sodium, or excess fat. And these are nutrients we call nutrient of concern, of public health concern, because they contribute a lot to our health conditions. And that is why we need certain logos that we do not need somebody to even interpret you. Once you see that logo is on the pack saying that high salt, high sugar, You can be well informed. If you are somebody who is not supposed to take more salt or sugar, then you can say, no, this product is not for me. Or even if I'm taking this product, I could take that in a certain moderation. It is important to us, and I always will make the statement that as you sit, you are what you eat. Everything about you is food. And I tell my students that when I bring a lion to the class, the lion will see nothing but food, because we are food. Our bodies are made up of what we eat. And that is why we need to be concerned as individuals about what goes into our food. Importantly, when it comes to packed food, it's something you and I are not in the kitchens where they prepare these things. You don't know how much salt has been put in, you don't know how much sugar has been put in, and you have conditions. There are also issues of allergens and all that. Some react to certain food products and all that. If these are not well put on the labels of foods that you have, you may be doing yourself.
So we should leave the choice to the consumer.
Very good.
Not the product, the producer determining what to put on there. Put everything there. Let me decide, okay, even though you've said it's excess, I still want to go for it.
Exactly. The choice must be the consumer.
Right, right. And let me come to you, Joseph. I mean, what are the dangers if we do not have these things being shown on the labels?
Well, the dangers are already in our faces as a nation. As rightly put, we have seen that non-communicable diseases like cardiovascular diseases, cancers, kidney diseases, diabetes, they are on the rise. And the research has shown us that these nutrients of concern, that is the sugars, the salts, and the fats, are the main implicated nutrients that cause these diseases. So if, as a professional body, we do not embark on this advocacy to make the Ghanaian aware that these nutrients can cause these diseases in your health, then we have a problem. Because as it stands now, we do not have the front of pack warning label. Once you pick a product, when it comes to sugar, there can be different components of sugar. Sometimes on the label, they will write things like fructose, molasses, and the ordinary person may not even understand that is sugar. So what we are saying is that put everything together. The WHO has a health threshold for all of these ingredients. Once it exceeds that threshold, then you should boldly write on the package that excess sugar. Then the choice now becomes for the consumer to choose whether they still want to go ahead consuming this product or not.
Wow. So it's all about empowering the consumer. And Doc, you mentioned something earlier, and Prof, sorry, I want to come back to that issue. You say that we are exactly what we eat, and so when we make those choices, we need to take responsibility. Is that why we are seeing a lot of young people now transitioning to recording NCDs in young people? Because usually it used to be older folk, but now the young ones are also experiencing it.
Yeah, you rightly put it. The problem we have currently in our system is that we are transiting from our traditional diets. We much more used to fast foods and sugary beverages and all that. You ask a mechanic this morning, have you eaten? No, but I've taken some energy drink with bread. And of course, it will give you energy to work. But the implications thereof on your system is huge. It will stop your body properly functioning in terms of its hormones activities, in terms of production of reversing things that would control your sugar normally and all that. And that leads to these kind of things. We are transiting more onto ultra processed foods instead of foods that have high fiber, foods that have very less of trans fats and all that. We eating from the street. The oil that is used to fry fish is the same oil that is used to fry the fried yam. Is the same oil that is used to fry. And the longer these oils keep on the fire, it transforms, and that is what makes it dangerous. So the youth are on the streets for easy fast foods and all that, and this is possibly one of the factors you can associate with some of these deaths of our young ones. They are not eating right.
Wow. Stop looking at me like I'm the only guilty person. Yeah, we are all guilty. But let me come to you, Honam. So, in all of these, there are others who would say that people will still go for what they think is sweet for them, regardless of what is contained in the pack. So, why is it necessary to have all these things on the pack if people will still go for them anyways?
Well, it is still necessary because we still have a population that would rather know, right? It's like you said, it's the consumer's choice to make. Okay. And we've realized that we pay attention to our machines even more than our bodies. Even for the cars we use, we are very particular about what is being put in there. Mm-hmm. And we check the labels of the things that are being put in our machines. So why shouldn't our food also have the labels it requires? So it's very necessary.
Right. But Joseph, are there like examples across the world that we can emulate and say that, okay, well, this country is doing it, it's helping, we've seen the dividends that has yielded? Are there examples like
that? Yes, several countries have embarked on this advocacy project, and by so doing, they've had the front of pack warning labels as a policy enacted in their countries. Yes, and it's been very, very impactful. Recently, I reviewed a research paper from South Africa, and that had to do with decreasing the sodium quantities in their processed foods. And on a population level, you've realized that the incidence rates of diseases like cardiovascular diseases has decreased drastically. And that is what we are talking about. It means that they are improving on their public health issues. But considering a country like Ghana, decades ago, we started feeding our children with sugary foods and biscuits every single day to school. And that is why, that addresses a question about the young people. Yeah. That is why we have a generation that is so plagued with non-communicable diseases, even at a younger age. It practically looks as though if you're a parent and you do not give your child these sugary drinks on daily basis for them to take to school, it means you are not playing your role well as a father or as a mother.
You're not a caring parent.
But should we let this continue? Like, how are the generation coming up going to see us as parents as to whether we were able to take the hard decisions to protect their health, or we contributed to the diseases that would be plaguing their lives? So these are critical issues that we really need to attend to, because once we adopt this policy, it is going to have an overall positive impact on the disease burdens of Ghanaians. As a clinical dietitian, I have seen a lot of my patients whose health conditions have transformed positively by taking out, these nutrients of concern from their everyday diet. And now we want to enact this as a policy so that the general populace can also benefit.
And I must say that we are seeing some level of improvements. I don't have data to suggest, but I've seen a lot of people now opting for, let's take fruit juice instead of the processed ones. I see people now getting into the business of doing freshly squeezed and all of that. How do we get the public to also, to also be champions of this message?
That is good. But evidence-wise, let me tell you that a lot of evidence exists. WHO has published so many evidence on countries that have tried this front of pack warning. And especially in Southern Americas, Mexico and Brazil and all those countries that really started these issues earlier, have seen quite a drop, especially when it comes to consumer decision making in terms of choosing healthier products over unhealthy products. And by far, this is one of the most proven to be one of the most effective public health intervention to address issues of NCDs NCDs and its related issues like obesity and stuff like that. Importantly, we should note that this whole thing borders on helping people address things they do not have a stretch to. You can control the adverts they do on on ultra-processed foods. You can control the sightings of these products. But when, as a country, we take a decision, people have to abide by it. Yes. So you are asking as consumers, what can we do? We have a lot to do. One, the fact is that we need to realize, and I like when terms like resetting comes in, we need to reset our minds to the fact that we are what we eat. And when you eat foods that makes you sick, you will definitely be sick. If you eat foods that gives health, you will definitely live healthy. So one, we should demand from government our right to good nutrition. In fact, nutrition is a human right issue. We have a right to nutrition, and not just nutrition, good nutrition. So we should demand for our government, what can he do to make our nutrition right? Part of it is to come up with policies that would hold the environment together, that we will have healthier food options. We have to hold government accountable for ensuring that food prices, especially when it comes to foods that are grown, are lower. We have to be able to hold government accountable that we have our food safety is secured. Okay, in terms of how our food are grown and how our foods are the foods that are available in our market. If we talk about fruits, if you go to town, can you buy fruits affordably? Government cannot run away from some of these issues and say government cannot control the price market. Who is the government? It's us. And we should be able to do that. In the olden days, we're having barter trade, and I'm not sure we suffered so much. If I have my plantain, I cut it and give it to you who has water, and you give me water. And that's how we have to live, to bring things to our level that we can serve each other better. So as consumers, one, we should be concerned about what comes into our market. We should be able to speak up to these issues. This thing we are discussing here should be discussed at town hall levels, should be discussed at unit committees. How do we ensure that our children live right? How do we ensure that we eat well? These should be issues that we should bring up. When it comes to political campaigns, we are talking about roads and all that. But let me tell you, nutrition is the bane of everything. If you are not healthy today, you will not be the host here. The cameramen will not be there. If they don't have the energy, they will take us the pictures, but the pictures will look malnourished. You see, because they are not alert, they are mentally weak, they are whatever it is. So nutrition is everything. If an economy is poor, it's poor because it is not paying attention to the nutrition of the people. Why spend so much money on health, buying bigger machines, when you can ensure that there is food in the system, that healthy food options for people?
So we're not placing priority on preventative. We are looking at how to cure.
Exactly. We are always talking about cure. But what is happening without preventive? So as a citizen, we should demand some of these things. And not so much be interested in the number of excavators that has been packed somewhere or those kind of. Let's be interested in our nutrition. If our nutrition is right, the nation will begin to think right. And we will be able to improve our cost of living.
I have a saying usually when I'm closing my show. I tell people to chillax on the fizzy drinks. Don't drink too much fizzy drinks. I'm not saying cut it completely, but I mean reduce it. With time you cut it, because I know what it has done to me at a point. So how do people get to be a part of this campaign so much that it does not just rely with Gand, that champion it? If people want to be a part of it, how do they join it?
Well, so on our social media handles, we have messaging ongoing.
Okay.
If we are also invited to institutions, schools, we are ready to come and give the message to people that to also be able to support the campaign. So they can always reach out to us, Ghana Academy for Nutrition and Dietetics on Facebook. On Instagram, we are GHOne_. If they reach out to us, we can always support them on how to. We're also doing this in partnership with Send Ghana.
Oh, okay. Right. All right, just about take your final words as we wrap up the show this morning. I'll start with you, Joseph.
I need all of Ghana to understand that we have a critical issue on our hands, and we need to take it up with all the seriousness we can. We need every Ghanaian to add his or her voice to the front of pack warning label advocacy, because we believe it is going to transform the current state of our country in the form of its disease burden to a more positive outlook.
Right. Prof?
Well, I would just say that Ghana's economy and all that we are fighting for will be better if the nutrition of the country is right.
Front of pack warning, is that what it's like on tobacco?
Yes.
Where it tells you it can kill.
Yes.
So if you are taking it, you know that you are killing yourself and you've been warned.
Yes. For the front of pack on this nutrition label, what has been seen to work as those that are telling you what is in excess of the product you are consuming.
So excess sugar.
So you say excess sugar, excess fat, excess sodium.
If you see the excess and you still want to go,
you want to eat it, then it's all about your
But thank you so much for joining us this morning for the conversation. I was here with Professor Kingsley K. Asare-Preko. He is the Vice Dean, School of Medical Sciences, immediate past president of GHOne, Pel Honam Selom, PRO of GHOne, and of course, Joseph Dankwa, General Secretary of GHOne. He's also a senior dietitian at Southton District Hospital, Sogankopra. Thank you so much for coming. And like I would always tell you, going to the weekend does not mean go and abuse sugar. Chillax on the fizzy drinks. Let's go natural and live healthy lives for Mother Ghana. We'll right back with more after this. Well, thank you so much for staying on with us here on GHOne television. It's still GH Today, and the next interview is touching about something that you and I must be a part of. And I have my guest in the studio this morning. Pastor Courage has joined me. Also, welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm blessed.
And how's ministry been?
Awesome. It gets tougher, but it gets better.
But why do people keep saying it gets tougher? That's why the Holy Spirit is there, to make it easy.
Yeah, so, the primary one exam cannot be same as the university exam.
So, as you progress, then it gets different.
It gets different,
Right.
and interestingly, you also become different. Because, what you're able to overcome when you started, if it comes to you now, it's nothing.
Exactly.
But now, if what you're going through right now, imagine the bills you're paying now, coming to you 20 years ago,
it would have crippled me.
In Nigeria, we say chai.
Right.
Awesome.
So talk to me. Who is Pastor Courage?
Pastor Courage is a young Nigerian that the Lord has helped by His mercy. I'm a music minister, a worship pastor. I'm also a music producer, songwriter. You know how the list goes now. And then I own my own record label, Courageous Records.
Wow.
Yes, and then I have my ministry is channeled towards worship and prayer. And that's basically who Pastor Courage is. And what else? Maybe you ask what you want to know and I'll tell you.
No, at what point did music come into the picture?
It's always been music. It's always been music.
Right.
So let me tell you something interesting. In 2005, I was in school, and I think we're taking a class on biology. And I just looked at myself and I'm like, I know that after this, there won't be any more because I know what I'm supposed to do.
Wow.
That far, So I couldn't wait to finish secondary school. I don't know what they call it in Ghana.
Yeah, secondary school.
Okay.
Senior high school now.
I couldn't wait to finish high school to just get started. So I had to patiently wait for another 2 years. I couldn't wait and when I was done, I told my parents, I said, you know what the Lord has told me to do from childhood. I'm ready for it now. So it's been that all the way.
And what did your parents say? Because I know that growing up, father wants the child to be a doctor, an engineer, pilot, and you said, okay, I don't think the school is what God wants me to do. Let me go.
Let me give you an exclusive. You can post this anyway to trend. Listen to me.
I'm listening.
I told my parents that this is what I want to do with my life. I know what my mom did.
Yeah.
She knelt me down, poured oil on me, and told me to go.
Hey!
I carried my bag. We call it one black leather bag. In Nigeria, we call it bako bag. With one trouser, one shirt, my Bible, and my mom gave me a wrapper. I still have the wrapper till today, and a book, and a pen. She didn't ask me, where are you going to? And I left the house, and then I started struggling and suffering, of course, but I heard God tell me, leave your friends. I was like, Ibrahim, interestingly. So one day I called my mom. I was so poor, I was so broke, I was angry. If I was in my family house, there was food.
Yeah.
But I'm just here, and then I called my mom. I was like, why would you not stop me from leaving the house? Not like I want to come back.
My mother wouldn't have allowed me.
And then this is the exclusive thing. She said, when you were in the womb, I told the Lord that this boy is going to serve you. And so the day that we gave birth to you, as soon as I heard your cry, I told them to give you to me. They brought you to my arms. I lifted up Pastor Courage and I said, Lord, no matter what this boy does, let him serve you.
So your mother sold you out? Even before you could make a decision for yourself?
There was a price on my head.
Wow.
So when I told her I was going to do full-time ministry, and I was just 17, I think, or 16.
What do you know about ministry at that age?
Interestingly, the Lord had already walked to me to tell me.
Oh.
I had a vision at night, and the Lord told me, He said, whatever you want to do in life, you will not be successful. I created it to raise worshippers and worship altars all over the world. So you're wasting your time. Go and raise worshippers and worship altars for me all over the world. And then I asked him, I'm a very inquisitive person. And then I asked him, I said, well, Lord, the world is gradually, because then GSM just came in Nigeria, we just had phones, and then I was like, but the world is growing rapidly fast, how will I catch up? And then he made a statement. He said, everything you need to succeed, I have put inside you. That was all I needed.
Very instructive.
That was all.
Wow.
Yes.
So tell me, what are you doing in Ghana?
I came to see my people. I'm home.
Right.
I'm home. So I have a worship and prayer concert. It's been running for over 20 years. Okay. And so sometime last year, the Lord said it's time to extend it to other nations. And in the place of prayer, the Lord said, go to Ghana.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we're here for Pastor Corey Live in Contact, Ghana. This is the first edition anywhere else in the world.
Wow.
And then
so it's always been in Nigeria?
Always
this
in
Nigeria. This is the first time that it's moved out of Nigeria?
Yes.
And you chose Ghana?
Yes. I didn't choose Ghana. We're praying, and then the Lord said, come to Ghana. And I'm glad he said Ghana because I don't miss Nigeria. I've been here for days and I'm loving it here. I'll be back to Ghana. I don't even need invitation to come to Ghana. I don't book a flight and come to Ghana. It's a beautiful,
amazing. So talk to me about Pastor Courage Live in Contact Ghana. When is it happening? What is it about?
This Sunday, the 18th of May. By 4 p.m. American time, because I heard of Ghanaian time.
They didn't tell you. They should have. Why do you do that? Should have easy for them.
They already told me that there's something called Ghanaian time, but it's going to be 4 p.m. exactly. We're starting, and the venue is at Shekinah Auditorium. It's somewhere around Total Filling Station in Ogbojo.
Okay.
Ogbojo.
East Legon.
Yeah, East Legon. Yes, Shekinah Auditorium, 4 p.m. this Sunday, the 18th of May. Yeah, it's a night of encounter. You know, it's not a concert. It's an encounter. You know, when you come to a meeting and then the atmosphere is soaked in prayer and deep worship, and then you encounter God, because every great man you see is a product of an encounter. And I'm going to tell you, when we say that, it's not that it has to be God. There are other encounters that are anti-God. So, but there is no man that will come and tell you will not wake up tomorrow that is not speaking from somewhere. He has encountered something. So for this Sunday, it's going to be an encounter with the Holy Spirit, and we'll become unstoppable after that experience. Our altars will catch fire. Yes.
And I see you're not doing this alone. You've got others also supporting you.
Yes, I have. This event is organized by Event Without Borders Ghana. My bosom brother and friend Harrison has been doing all the run around, and I have Lady Chatty. She's Ghanaian.
Yes.
I've been speaking with her for years. I've never met her. I'm so excited. I can't wait. We met on Instagram. Minister Mimi is also Ghanaian. Amazing woman of God. Ike the combophonist, also a Ghanaian. Then I have my friend Mercy Peter. She's already in town from Nigeria. Pastor Jude Nwoko from Nigeria. Yeah, that's the line.
Those are Nigeria-Ghana collaboration.
We have more Ghanaians than Nigerians.
Setting the flames, then getting into that connection with the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
And it's on Sunday.
On Sunday
at 4 p.m.
Yes, totally free. There's no gate fee. It's free.
You flew from Nigeria to come to Ghana.
Yes.
For an experience with the Holy Spirit for free.
Yes, totally free. There's no gate fee. You can't put a price on. If the next president of Ghana comes from that meeting, how much would he have paid to become that? So I am more interested in what they become than what I can get. I don't need anything. The only thing I need, the support I need, is for them to come. Or somewhere else that they were asking me, just come. Everything is ready, just come.
Just come.
Just come.
All right, so this is your camera. I want you to speak to the people of Ghana why they should be at this encounter with the Holy Spirit on Sunday.
Good morning, my family in Ghana. Listen. You've been praying. You've been asking God. You've been waiting for Him. Now He's in your city and is waiting for you. On this Sunday, on the 18th, you need to come and encounter God in dimensions you have never seen Him. If you're sick, come. If you're depressed, come. If you're addicted to anything that is keeping you down, whatever it is, with family partner, whatever, come. There is a God that still answers prayer and is waiting for you on Sunday at Pastor Corey Live in Contact, Ghana.
Pastor, thank you so much. Pastor Courage has been wonderful. And we'll see you on Sunday.
Yes,
we'll see you on Sunday and experience God. Thank you so much for coming. All right, so let's do the birthdays now. Today is the 16th of May, 2025. And it's the birthday of some wonderful people. And it's your birthday today. Happy birthday to you. Let me start with this one. Happy birthday, Maxwell Mawenya Bossi. On this special day, we celebrate not only your life, but also your incredible leadership and dedication to empower the youth. And it's from your family, Abiding Faith Church International. The youth there say they are wishing you amazing. Well, I think from today we need to extend the time for birthdays because Mayborns, we are just too many. But happy birthday to all of you, and that's how we got the curtains on the show today, and also climax it for the week. We're back same time and next week, God willing, and do have a wonderful day. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. Good morning.